Well, morning all, welcome along to the Old Classic Car channel. Today we are back at Brightwells in sunny Herefordshire for the upcoming Vintage and Classic and Modern Classic auction. Today it is Monday the 27th of July. The auction itself kicks off, registration opens this coming Saturday 1st of August, and the auction runs online. It's an online timed auction that runs through till the following Wednesday. There are viewing days coming up, so as I always say, there's no substitute for checking out these cars in the metal. So if anything really floats your boat, check out brightwells.com for the full lowdown, all the information about registration, commission, all that kind of thing, and indeed more precise details about each of the cars that feature in this video. This is really just a bit of a walk around, an introduction to what's coming up in the next Brightwell sale, but don't take my word for anything. Right, without further ado, let's go over that way, because that is where the older cars are, and that is where we're going to start our walk around today. Yeah, I think there are around 200 plus cars entered in to the upcoming auction, so there's going to be plenty to see, plenty of variety, as you can see here. Now, we start off with a wartime Jeep. I don't remember reading about this one, so like I say, you can check to see if this particular vehicle is in the upcoming auction on the Brightwells website itself. This one looks to be very, very dusty, maybe laid up for just a little while. I'm a day earlier than I usually get to this particular preview, so some of the cars haven't been fully prepped yet, moved around, etc. So there will be a fair bit going on in the background while we do this walk around, so I'll try and keep out of everyone's way. Big thanks to Brightwells for letting us come down here and have a bit of a mooch around. But let's have a look at this beauty here. This is a Riley 9 Lynx. This one dates to 1933, just the kind of era that I really, really like. Sort of beginning to the mid 1930s, that is where peak car for me is. But yes, I realise not everyone is into their pre-war cars, but not to worry, that I do like talking about them. But what a beauty this is. So a 4-seat Tourer, the Riley 9, super popular, very well supported by various specialists and spares suppliers. I know I've got my youthful assistant with me today. He's a big fan of Riley Lynxes, he likes these. I imagine you like this one then?
Got good seats, yeah, good, aren't they?
Floor change as well, tiny
Crash
gear
box,
lever, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, look at that tiny little gear lever just down there.
It's reversed like the MG.
Yeah, oh is it? Has it got the reverse gate, has it?
Not
Oh, I see.
pre-select, I don't know if these work.
No, that's it.
That's nice, isn't it? I like that.
Yeah, very nice, and very well stocked dashboard on these as well, as befits the sporting tone of these particular cars. Rileys are always very sporting, whether the open cars or the saloons, the Riley 9 Monacos and the 12 4s. This one looks to be very, very tasty indeed. The estimate on this is about 20 to 25, I think, somewhere in that ballpark. But like I say, estimates and all that kind of information, you know where to go for that. And yeah, this one is very, very nice, all together, up together, and usually there are videos of the cars running where applicable on the Brightwells site as well. So that always gives you a bit of an indication as to how well these things are set up. Now we've got Morgan. It's reasonably, so what's this, early 1980s. They didn't change much at all. So what's that, Speed Mog Championship. So sort of mildly modified, quite the bonnet strap on there. Look at that. So yeah. So Speed Mog Championship, but it still looks very much like a road car, so maybe just lightly modified perhaps. Sort of a event that you drive the car to compete and then drive it back home again. I have got a roll cage in it. Otherwise it looks from the outside reasonably standard. Many louvers in the bonnet. This, the Morgan Plus 4. Very bonny little car, that one. Right, we carry on. Oh, look at this, Rover P4. Such is the variety of cars here, as you can see. Look at these. We'll have a proper walk around imminently, but we'll have to try and make sure we don't miss anything out. Very, very original looking P6 on the J registration, one of the facelifted Rover P6s. The paint looks to be very, very original indeed. Like that kind of thing. Just evolved, not been resprayed or bulled up for the auction, just the paintwork has just evolved over the last, what, 55 years, or give or take, to what you see here, and I think there's a lot to be said for very original paint. Looks pretty. Look, got a period roof rack. We like a bit of period roof rack action. And there we go, there's a roof rack in the back there. Looks like a spare exhaust silencer as well. Yeah, so it's a floor change, manual gearbox. Is this a 2000 or the 22? Let's see if there's any clues around the back. This is the 2000. There we go, nice little badge there. Original metal plates. So I like that. Always approve of that. Old sort of 1980s RAC sticker in the back window there. Use premium grade fuel. Not less than 96 or 98 octane. There we go, so original sticker there. So, yeah, so it looks like very original car, probably quite a good daily user that one would be. It's not immaculate by any stretch of the imagination, but looks like a good presentable Rover P6, and by all accounts these are a really good steer. I've never actually owned one of these myself, but I'm led to believe they are great cars to drive. Right, we carry on. And we have a sort of mid to late 1930s Morris here. I think this one, is this a 12? I'm just going, yeah, Morris 12 there, lovely enamel badge. Again, the kind of era that I really, really like. This one, I think, is about 1936. The estimate on this one, there's several Morrises entered, so apologies if I get them mixed up. But I think this one is around the 3-ish, that sort of ballpark, and you won't go far wrong. Bright, bright blue. Looks like the wings have seen paint more recently perhaps than the rest, I'm not sure. Looks like a reasonably recent paint job. I've never noticed these trims before on these, but it's not the sort of car you stumble across all that often. The earlier Morris 10s and 12s had the chrome radiator surround and the spoked wire wheels. This is reasonably late in that it's got the painted rad surround and the Easy Clean steel wheels there. Easy Clean does what it says on the tin, a lot easier to keep clean than spoked wheels.
I look at the seats in it.
Let's have a quick look inside. What are you looking at? The
Seats are amazing in it.
in good order, are they? Let's have a quick look inside. Opening windscreen, so
Sorry,
maximum ventilation. No, I can manage. Rear hinged. Actually, that opens and shuts really nicely. That's always the acid test, as I've said before. Yes, very nice original door trims there. It's great in here as well, isn't it? Actually. Headlining is nice, so we're sort of
12 would be good, wouldn't
a
it?
12.
Not
Yeah,
fast, but
it's not fast, but it'd be a good usable. Yeah, very usable.
yeah.
Well, stock dash, Bakelite dash. I think I'm just sort of leaning in here because I can't get the door too far open. No, it's okay. It's just I don't want to get too close to the Rover, but the door actually shuts really nice. Let's have a look from this angle. There we go. It's a nice, well-equipped dash in there. Lovely seats. Yeah, this would actually be really usable. Late pre-war, late 1930s Morris for sort of 3.5, that sort of ballpark. Original reg as well, I would suggest. Original plates too, so that gets a big tick in the box.
That's not bad, is it? Really?
It's a good car, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be winning Pebble Beach, but it's a good user. Very distinctive user. Yeah. A lot of car for not a huge amount of money. And if you're used to driving maybe like classic cars like from the 50s and 60s, these late pre-war cars, late 1930s, they're not too big a jump to get used to driving these. If you bought like an early 20s car, for example, well, that would take just a little bit of acclimatization, but these actually drive, the cars of this era, they're not that dissimilar to like a car from the 1950s, something like that to drive. But they have all the character of a much older car. So yeah, I do like that. The 12 horsepower, the old RAC rating. So that would actually probably roll on quite happily, 45, probably 50 on a nice run. So yeah, a nice thing there. Like I say, there are modern classics, classic cars and vintage cars in this particular auction. As always, we'll try and just feature a little bit of everything, but the priority is going to be the older cars because otherwise this video would be even longer than it's already going to be. I quite fancy one of these actually one day. Toyota Land Cruiser. Ever since I got rid of the Jeep, I've kind of missed out on not having a tow car around the place, so something like that would actually be quite a good option. Right, we are in Land Rover corner now. It wouldn't be a Brightwells sale without a few Landys. We've got a Series 1 here. It's been probably brush painted at some point in the past, and it's sort of weathered down quite happily now into the sort of condition that seems just about right, to be honest. We've got a few spare bits in there for an old Landy. Seats, very nice, look like they've been replaced. Roof covering, that's probably been replaced at some point in time. Looks to be, from here, looks to be in really good nick. So yeah, it's obviously had money spent on it. Chassis looks very clean indeed. Of course the chassis can be a bit prone to tinworm on Landys, as any Land Rover aficionado will know. Yeah, pretty neat little car. And oof, look at this, another Series 1 here. Now the paintwork on this one looks to be very, very original. You can see the aluminium under the paintwork there. A few period repairs in evidence just like that, but I actually really like that sort of thing. I love these sort of repairs. It's like on old porcelain. Sometimes you look on the back of old plates and you see the old stapled repairs, but they actually give a bit of character to things, and I like this kind of thing. Look at that. Again, new canvas tilt on the back, but the rest of it very, very original indeed. Bonnet up, and again everything looks to be pretty much in order. Looks like we've got some new wiring in there. Good old Landy. Yeah, great thing. I love how the exhaust goes through the inner wing and then out the back. All pretty easy to get at, I would suggest. Rightio, we carry on and we zip forward in time to the 1980s, the early 1980s, and this, the Series 3 Land Rover. So a bit more modern. Not too sure there's many more creature comforts. There's a bit more padding on the seats, but I would suggest. And yeah, slightly later dash in these particular old Landys. But again, very, very usable. Mainly aluminium panelling, apart from the bulkhead along here, and indeed where the doors hinge, just on this tall, narrow panel here. So you're always having a look around there, and at the chassis, of course, if you're thinking about buying an older Land Rover like Series 3s or Series 1s as we've got here. Another Toyota Land Cruiser. Pretty good, hefty old girls these are, like those. Landy alongside this, the long wheelbase Defender. Great colour, we love a bit of yellow here at OCC. We're down here today in the bright yellow MX-5. Lovely run down the A49 today. All looks pretty much as you'd expect in there, all present and correct. Very practical, these long wheelbase Landys. These are the 110s, I think, aren't they? Lots of space, extra seats in the back as well. So yeah, many practical uses for that one. And we've got another 110 alongside it here. Like the colour on that. SY12, so what, 2012, 2013, the date on that one. Looks like it's got LED headlamps. But right, anyway, where are we now? We go right back in time. Oof. Now, this is a bit of me. This is right up my street, this one. This is a 1930 Model A, not just a Model A pickup. This is the Model A Roadster Pickup. I used to have a Model AA truck, which was just like this on steroids. That was also 1930. This has pretty much the same running gear as the Ford Model A cars that we see quite often at the events we go to, but this is super rare. The pickups are pretty thin on the ground, but this is the Roadster Pickup because you've got the pickup body and the folding roof. I'm pretty sure these are quite popular in America back in the day, and even over in Australia, and possibly slightly warmer climates than we tend to have here. But this is a beauty. I assume it's got the original 3.3 four-cylinder side valve engine. Really well supported, like the Riley we were looking at before. Parts availability and advice is really good for these. They made huge numbers of the Model A's. These were a replacement for the Model T, but not made for anything like the same amount of time as the Model T. These came out in the late 20s and were produced for a few years into the 1930s, then replaced by the Model B. But this, I don't think I've actually ever seen one of these Roadster pickups before. I've heard of them, I've seen pictures, but I don't think I've ever seen one. So, pretty familiar Model A dash. That is pretty neat indeed. The estimate 14 to 15,000 pounds on that one. So we're talking typical sort of Model A money. They're always in the sort of 12, 15, 16 sort of ballpark. Some people want saloons, some people want tourers. This is a pickup tourer, so yeah, best of both worlds in many respects. And you're not going to see too many of these on the show field. Probably the original roof material. Actually kind of cool, quite like that actually. Yeah, pretty mad. Nice wings there, decent wood in the back as well. We've got a starting handle just over there. Yeah, looks like it's sort of an older restoration, I suppose, which is sort of mellowed down quite happily now. I'm never sure about trucks looking too shiny. I always think they need to show a little bit of age to them. Right, and now anyway, we carry on our quest, and with a very distinctive registration number, which is great to see it's still on, the 1081F, we have a Sunbeam. This is a Sunbeam Mark III. So this was the replacement, the final version of what started out as the Sunbeam-Talbot 90 and the 80 before that. Earlier cars had the sort of removable wheel spats, but by this point in time they just had the regular rear arches like you see there. But these were very, very popular cars, just over 2 litre, about 2.2 litre I think the engine in these, 4-cylinder, but very sporty car, popular in rallying in the 1950s. And this is really a lovely, lovely car. These 3 vents on the side here, that's the giveaway that we're looking at, the Sunbeam Mark III, as opposed to the Sunbeam-Talbot 90. And I think we've got one of those elsewhere here in the building today, so we'll have a look at that and just compare and contrast. You can see just Sunbeam Supreme Sunbeam, it says on the top of the radiator there, whereas the earlier car says Sunbeam-Talbot. That's actually a very, very sharp looking car indeed. I imagine the reserve, I think, is around about 12ish, 14. That reflects the fact that it looks to be actually very nice condition. 1957 tax disc just in the window there. Let's have a quick peer inside, because I do quite like these, and I've said before I always like the interior on these sort of post-war Roots Group cars because they're very, very attractive. All the cream switchgear. And as befits a sporting saloon, we've got a rev counter there in the middle as well. Great built-in radio and a heater. Oof. All the modern conveniences. Column change on these. Individual front seats with the armrest. But lovely, lovely mellow leather there. Like that. Headlining looks pretty nice as well. Yeah, great things. I love these. There's an alternative to your sort of Austins and Morrises. That shuts nicely. You could do a lot worse, I think, than one of these. I just think these are really, really nice. We did have a look at a few adverts for Sunbeam-Talbot 90s and indeed Mark IIIs before we bought our V8 Pilot. These were on the short list, definitely, because the more I read about them, the more I realised that they're actually a really good, usable car. Interior, very similar to sort of the 1950s Humber Hawks as well. Again, a Roots Group product, but yeah, this one looks to be very nice. Got a big sliding steel sunroof as well. So yeah, whoever ends up grabbing that one, I think it's going to end up with a very nice looking car indeed. Rightio, let's carry on down this row. Bright yellow MGB GT. It's on a W registration, so fairly late GT. It's had the chrome bumper conversion. I think it's still at the standard ride height for a rubber bumper car, but I could be wrong. Manual with overdrive, if the button in the middle of the gear lever is anything to go by. It's had a wooden dash, like a walnut veneer dash to replace the original. And the original dashes weren't the prettiest things in the world, so I can understand why that would have been done. It's got the Webasto roof as well. Yeah.
Is it overdrive?
This is an overdrive one, yeah. And it's got the recessed grille as well, so they didn't fit those for very long in the early 1970s. So yeah, certainly got the retro look about it, even though it is a later car, going off the registration number anyway. Because the earlier cars didn't have these GT badges here covering up the join where the roof joins the rear side here. There's a join behind there. On the earlier GTs that was leaded over. On these cars they put a badge over it instead. Right, anyway, there you go, bright yellow MGB. And we carry on down here. because I'm aware these videos can get a bit on the long side, so I'm trying to be quite choosy. Right, and what have we got here? An old Morris. This is a Morris 10.6. Now we see 10.4s around from time to time, but not so many of these. This is a 10.6 from 1934, same year as our little MG, which we had out only yesterday. But this is the 10.6 with a 6-cylinder engine, so slightly longer front on it compared to the 4-cylinder cars. And this one looks to be in really good nick. 1934, the estimate, about 5,000 to 6,000, that sort of ballpark. So for not crazy money, you'd end up with a very smart looking car. And early 30s as opposed to late 30s, I just kind of prefer a little bit. I've got a bit of a sucker for spoked wheels, I have to say, even though they're a bit of a fiddler to keep clean. But I do like spoked wheels and chrome radiators. So if you're like me, then maybe this 10.6 is a good candidate for you. Let's have a quick look inside, because a big opening sunroof as well. So perfect for those sunny days. Let's have a look. See, let's have a look. No drop on the doors, that's always good. Seat squab is up because the battery lives under there. It's got that lovely original sort of smell of old leather in here. Original headlining. There you go, the Pitchley opening sunroof there. It's actually really original in here. Quite a well-stocked dash as well. So yeah, just another rung up the ladder compared to your regular Morris 10.4s. What do you reckon to this one?
Good car.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, 6-pot. So it won't be a big engine. Is it already open? Is it? Let's have a quick peer under here. Then there's the bonnet is already open. So there we go. Chunky 6-pot engine. So regular ignition there. So there's your distributor, all nice and easy to get to. The HT leads actually pass through and go over to the side, over the way there, where the little SU carb is as well. You can just see that. Morris were regulars with SU carburetors, whereas Austin tended to stick with Zeniths for a long time. Morris fitted SU carbs and indeed electric SU pumps. As you can just, if I just wend the camera through there, you can see the SU pump just on the bulkhead. Hydraulic brakes as well on this car. There's the dynamo, and that's one of the beauties of these cars. They're so easy to work on. If you're going to do a lot of work on one of these and you're going from side to side, the easiest thing to do is just to pop the bonnet off. You undo a couple of screws at the back there and you can slide the hinge out, because it literally, the bonnet hinge pushes into there. You can just lift the bonnet off and then you can get all around it, and it's really easy to work on. So yeah, it's got the starting handle clipped on there as well. So that's a good user, I would suggest. 5 to 6 is the estimate on that. That looks to be a really nice car. Again, the early 30s, they have these nice curvy backs to the body as well, where it sort of comes down, you've got the spare wheel on the back. And they sort of smooth things out a little bit. They made them a little bit more rounded by the time you get to the late 1930s, like the blue Morris just over there. But I, personally, myself, I prefer these slightly earlier designs from the early 30s. Nice old original plate there, original registration number presumably. That's a good thing. Looks like it's been retrofitted with some tiny little flashing indicators. So that's not a bad thing really. They've been done quite sympathetically so they don't stand out. Little drains there just for the big opening sunroof. But yeah, plenty of room. You get 2 or 3 people in the back there quite easily. And yeah, not a particularly common sight. And not common either is this Wolseley. So this is a Wolseley Hornet, if I remember right, from about 1932. Quite an unusual body. I'm not sure who did the bodywork on this. Someone's obviously put some thought into this with this sort of moulding that runs along the side here, and then does a little bit here, and then carries on along the bonnet. Clearly it's been painted a long time ago, probably in the 1950s. It's got that sort of 1950s paint shop vibe to it, and it's mellowed in. All these louvers, this was very much a characteristic of Wolseley's, certainly the sporty Wolseley Hornets of the 1930s. It says Swallow on the front, does it? Right. This one dates to 1932. It's an intriguing car. It's got these little sort of air intakes on the top of the scuttle here, not dissimilar to those fitted on the swallow-bodied Austin 7s. And you say it's got a swallow badge. Oh, there's a little swallow badge down there, isn't there? So maybe this is a swallow-bodied Wolseley, maybe is it a Hornet?
Yes.
If it's a 6-cylinder, it'll
Yes.
probably be the Wolseley Hornet. So maybe it's a swallow-bodied car. That would explain a lot. Nice headlamps, lovely Lucas lamps on that one as well. Illuminated Wolseley badge. Quite a good-looking car. And when I was looking at the photos on the website, I was sort of in two minds whether I liked it or not. But actually seeing it here in the metal, it is kind of growing on me. And of course, it's got spoked wheels as well, which is always a good thing. It's very distinctive. It's clearly been bodied that way for a very, very long time. And yeah, so the more I see it, it's actually sort of growing on me a bit. I love the dash as well. So you've got the remote gear shift just down there, manual floor change. Great little dash there as well. All sorts of gauges, oil. You've got oil there, the speedo, ammeter, Hinkley Myers Company vacuum gauge. That's quite neat. Oil pressure there. So you've got oil temperature, oil pressure. What's that one? Engine temperature. And of course the obligatory wooden peg on the choke. But yeah, that's quite a neat car. And if that is a genuine swallow body, which, you know, on the face of it, it would appear to be, it's actually quite a rare little car.
I think it's about 5,000 the lower estimate on this.
Was it? So, yeah, it's about 5 to 7, I think, the estimate on this. It's actually quite a neat little car. I quite like it, actually. I like how mellowed in the paint is. If you're just sort of looking closely, it sort of probably started off creamy and it's sort of gone a bit yellowy in places. But actually, I quite like that. I think the old leather bonnet strap as well. So yeah, the more I look at it, the more I like it. I think I'll probably take off the horns. I think they're just a little bit much. LV414, the registration. I'm not sure if that's still current or not. It could well be. But yeah, that's quite neat. Right, we carry on because there are two Austin 7 Chummies coming up in this particular sale. They are both from 1927, and the estimates on both are around 10 to 12. It's interesting to see because I mean, the Wolseley behind it isn't exactly a big car, but this is tiny in comparison even to that. So we've got the hood up. Looks like if it's not the original hood material, it's certainly been on a very long time. Bright red paintwork on this one. Yeah, 1927, so 5 years or so into production of the Austin 7 Chummy. The Chummies, tiny little four-seaters, but super popular in VSCC, the Vintage Sports Car Club. All sorts of events that you can take these on, little road runs and all that kind of thing. Loads of parts are available for these as well. They made them for quite a long time. And the estimate, yeah, 10 to 12-ish, or something like that. There is another one around somewhere. I'm not quite sure where it is. I'm just trying to see where it is. Oh, it's just over there behind the maroon Jaguar. So we'll check that out in a minute. But yeah, two 1927 Austin 7s, both with the same estimate of 10 to 12. So they've probably just come down a little bit. They used to be sort of nudging 15, 16 at one time. So the market has probably just settled just a little bit, bringing them back into the reach of more of us. What a great little car that is. Late vintage 1927 Austin 7. 747cc the engine under there. All pretty simple stuff. Yeah, what a great little thing. Right, we go back momentarily to Roots Group products. We looked at the Sunbeam Mark III before. Now we've got the Sunbeam-Talbot 90. So this one is just a little bit older than the other one, but very similar. And this indeed has the rear wheel spats that I was talking about before. There we go. So these are removable wheel spats so that you can remove the back wheel if you ever needed to. So it makes it a little bit sleeker and different interior as well. So we'll have a quick look at that one as well in a moment. But yeah, again, great looking vehicle. NKT. I think that's a Kent registration. I could be wrong on that one, but really stylish looking cars. I think I really do like the look of these. Let's have a quick peer inside, see what we can see. There we go. Oof. Looks very, very original in there. Very usable. If you want a characterful car, something like this from the sort of early 1950s. I'm not quite sure what date this one is, but what would be sort of 52 or 1953, that sort of ballpark. Yeah, similar interior to the Sunbeam Mark 3 that we're looking at again. Individual front seats, column gear change. I have seen one or two of these with a floor change on them, but I think they were probably conversions. The all-important headlining looks very, very nice indeed. Big opening sunroof again, so yeah, what a wonderful way to go out for a run on a Sunday afternoon. Let's just have a quick look in the back here. So rear hinged back doors. Interesting the way the glazing works on these. So you've got a rear window, fixed window here, and then the door opens and you've just got a seal between them, as you can see there. That's a nod back to much earlier airline Sunbeams and Talbots. I like the door handle, that's pretty cool. But look at the lovely leather seating. Little ashtray just built in there, somewhere to tap out your pipe. But, yeah, oh, agreeable. Does that look? That looks like an old cinema seat. It looks really, really inviting. I'm not going to try it out because I think if I got in there, I wouldn't want to get out again. What do you reckon to that, Hal? Look at this. Look at the seats in that. Aren't they lovely? That really is a belter, isn't it? Like I said, it looks like old cinema seats from like the 1930s or something like that.
I like these.
Yeah, I think they're really good. I wouldn't rule out one of these joining the garage at some point.
Good car to get, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I really, really like these.
Riley replica.
Yeah. Period radio aerial on the top there as well. Yeah, great little cars, that is. Rightio, so we have done part of the building, but there's still much more to do, so let's carry on up here. And well, we have the big 420G, so the 4.2 litre saloon here, based on the Mark 10. So the Mark 10, when it first came out, was 3.8. I think the 4.2 became an option on the late Mark 10s, and then you got the 420G, the 420 Grand. There's the regular 420, of course, which is a bit smaller than this, but this monster, this is the 420G. Just look how the body is so curvy going down the side there. Amazing looking cars. Don't survive in huge numbers, I think, because they don't tend to fit in your average garage very easily, so which led to a lot of them being left outside with inevitable results. Got a May 70 tax disc there. We like that kind of thing. Philologists will approve of that. Let's have a quick look in here actually. Look at the size of that, it's huge. Of course the underpinnings of these lived on for many more years after the 420G went out of production, with the Daimler DS420 limousine, which shared the floor pan and indeed the 4.2 litre XK engine from this car. Yeah. Amazing wafter this is. Column gear shift, automatic box on this. A column shift, huge rear seat. And what an amazing looking car, and getting fairly rare now as well. These don't survive in huge numbers. They did also do a limousine version. I remember stumbling across a couple of limo versions of these years and years ago, with a sliding partition, but you very rarely come across those now. If you're coming to have a look at this one, you do all your usual checks around the wheel arches, all that kind of thing, sills, edges of the floors, but typically they're pretty solid. XAX48, quite a distinctive registration, proper original plates on there as well, so that's always a good thing. So yeah, not immaculate, but probably quite a good user. It's had paint, but not very recently, I would suggest. But yeah, the mighty 420G. Where's Harley disappeared to? I think he's having a look at a little standard up here, so let's carry on up here past the Morris 10.6. Oh, here is that. Oh, look at that, isn't that a beauty? So the roof's down on this one. This is the other Austin 7 Chummie from 1927, VW registration number. Wowzers, yeah, what a little belter that is. So would you go for the red one? Would you go for the blue one? decisions. Let's have a quick look. So scuttle mounted lamps still was a thing on Austin 7 Chummies later cars. The headlamps would move down here to the more familiar position alongside the radiator. But this one is sort of mid-production, I suppose you'd say, 1927. The very early Chummies had slightly narrower doors. The rear line on the back of the door was vertical, whereas after a while they put it at an angle like you can see there, and it just gave a little bit more access to the rear seating when you clamber in and out of the back, especially with the roof up. But you know, what an appealing little car that is. Which would you go for, red or blue, the Chummies?
I haven't looked at them closely,
No?
to be honest. They're
No?
both quite nice.
They're both great, aren't they? I think I'll probably go for blue, just 'cause I'm a bit of a blue person. Yeah, they seem to be. Yeah, both the same estimate, 10 to 12. I like the supplied by Frank A. Bloomfield, automobile engineer of Braintree. That's quite a nice little thing in there. Trim, very similar to that in the other car. Very few controls really. We've got a hand throttle here where it says gas, ignition, advance and retard there, gear lever and handbrake down there, ammeter, speedo just tucked away over the way. Not a lot else really, but what else do you need if you're just going for a potter out to the pub on a Sunday? Supercharge. Well, you could put supercharge on. Lots of people do tune these up. Lots and lots of tuning parts are available, and there are several Chummies out there which look standard from the outside but do have quite sleepers with quite tuned up engines in them, so you do have options. If you want to just add a little bit more pep, you do have options with these cars because they've always been a popular choice with vintage enthusiasts. Right, we carry on. Now we're back to the late 1930s now.
This is interesting.
And there's a little standard. So this is, I think it's a Flying 8. Is it an 8? Doesn't see, I can't see, but I think it's a Flying 8. The pre-war cars. So the pre-war cars were the Flying series, so the Flying 8 and the 10s and 12s, that kind of thing, with this very distinctive waterfall, so-called waterfall grille that you see there. And they did put some of the 8s back into production after the war, but they were just called 8s, and they didn't have these vents down the side of the bonnet here. That is a pre-war only thing. But this is a really neat little tourer. I quite like one of these actually. Do you remember we dragged one of these ones out from... Is this 5 to 6, is it?
It's interesting because it's not the sort of car I think I would like.
Yeah, it's 1939 this is.
Because it's a bit wide for me, but actually I just
like
sat in it and it's got the nicest sort of driving position, and it's like sort of T-Series MGs when you have the roof up. It's sort of, you're higher than the roof.
It's quite cosy.
You know, so yeah, it's like really nice, and it's just got a great driving position, and it's
nice things.
just really nice once you get into it. Actually.
Yeah.
I really like
Yeah, well this is sort of late 30s design where things were just starting to get a bit more rounded off, a bit more curvy, whereas the earlier cars like this is 1927, a little bit more square cut the lines on these. But lovely little cars. Standard Motor Club, they're very helpful when it comes to parts and advice on keeping one of these on the road. So even though you can't nip to your local Halfords and buy some spare parts for one of these, there are parts around if you need anything. This one looks to be really nice actually. They did a drop head coupe as well, but this is the Tourer. So no outside door handles, so you lean in. You've already been in here, haven't you, Hal?
Yes. Yeah.
No, that's just there, is it? Yes. Yeah,
It
retrimmed.
isn't it? It's really, really nice.
Retrimmed. Let's see if I can get in. It'll be a lot easier getting in this.
See how easy it is to get in with that leather?
Yeah, it sort of cuts away
really
quite a long
helps.
way forward, doesn't it? So it does give you a bit of knee room, because one thing with our little MG is it's quite tight to fold yourself in. So let's just have a quick look in here. So this one you can get in backside first and then swing your legs in, whereas in the MG you sort of feed your legs in first. Yeah, what a great little thing. Just very cosy.
It's just really nice.
Yeah, it's sort of quite, the low roof line there, it sort of makes it quite cosy inside.
Comfortable car.
It is actually, retrimmed seats, later carpets. Yeah, just a fun little car, and you can have so much fun with something like this. And what did we say yesterday? About 5-ish, wasn't it? Yeah, 5 to 6,000, something like that. So probably similar money to a really nice saloon version of one of these. They're sort of 4-ish in that sort of ballpark. So for an extra 1,000 or so, you can get this lovely little Tourer. And, I just think it's a very, very appealing little car. This is. I like it. Yeah, it's an appealing little car. It's not very big, so it'll fit in any garage. And
It's like Morris, really, isn't it?
yeah, so for sort of £5,000, you could have a lovely little car like that in your garage. Got quite an unusual AA badge just on the front of this one. AA South Africa. So I wonder if this car, yeah, well, that's the Black Country, the Standard Motor Club, and then AA South Africa. So I'm wondering if this one has spent time over that away at some point in its life. Yeah, great fun little car. Rightio, and staying with the open top theme for just a little bit longer, we have this, the MGTD. These are quite accessible now price wise. I'm not sure what the estimate is on this, but they're usually sort of 9-ish, 8, 9, something like that. Is this a US one, is it?
I think this is the rock solid US import.
Is it? Oh, right. So the TD, so this was the replacement for the TC, so somewhat more modern under the skin compared to the previous TC. Solid disc wheels, steel wheels, that was a standard fitment on the TD, whereas the TCs were on wires. Independent suspension as well, I think, on these. That was another feature that came in with the TD. So this is sort of somewhat younger than our PA, but the family link is pretty obvious. A little bit bigger car, so arguably probably a little bit easier to get in and out of. Yeah, they're sort of 9-ish nowadays, aren't they? They used to be a little bit more, but sort of prices have just sort of settled back to probably pre-COVID levels now, meaning these types of car are getting more and more accessible. And there's a lot to be said for buying a car that's already been restored and seen a bit of regular use as opposed to buying a project. Yeah, fair bit of room in there. Quite a lot more spacious than our PA, which is a much older design, but the pre-war roots for this particular shape, well, there's no getting away from that. Yeah, good looking little car, and about 9-ish, give or take, is the estimate on that one. Right, now we will go and have a look over there, and we'll begin with 2 Rover P4s. Rightio, yes, 2 Rover P4s on the next row, alongside a very military looking Defender there. But look at this, because this is a P4 with a difference. This is a 1960 P4 that's been converted into a woodie estate car. By gum, that really is quite the conversion. Lots of photos of this are on the Brightwells site, so you can really sort of stand back and get an idea of the shape. The photos don't actually show just how curved it sort of comes out, curves around and tapers back in towards the back. So whereas I'd clocked this lovely curved section here, I hadn't realised just how this curves out and then tapers back in again. That really is quite the conversion. Whoever did this put a lot of time and thought into it. Is it?
Really
nice smell it.
Yes,
very nice. Very airy in the back, especially being a woodie. So yeah, quite a practical car. If you want like a classic estate, maybe this is the car for you. Proper heavy. Look at that. Proper heavy construction. Really nicely made, actually. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? Yeah, I love how this just tapers in. You don't see that. I didn't see that in the photos, but hopefully the camera, as I move around, will show that. Because at first when I saw the photos, I thought, oh, it's quite square, quite boxy, and it would be much easier to make it as a square, boxy, woodie estate. But actually, there are curves over even the rear. Look at.
Perspex.
Is it? Is that glass? No, it's glass. No, it's glass. It's got the little glass thing in there.
Custom glass.
But custom curved glass, a curved rear door. That is crazy.
Look how nicely that's done, actually.
Yes.
It looks original.
It would. I mean, you see some of these woodies, and they're very boxy. Because it's a lot easier to make things. It's a lot easier to make things in straight lines. But I hadn't appreciated just how nicely made that is, with all those curves and the curved tailgate and all this around here.
It's really nice.
Because I glanced at the photos and I thought, yeah, it's okay, but actually, the detail and that curved rear glass, that really is quite something. And again, obviously the same tapering shape down the side on this side as well. So yes, what an amazing looking vehicle, very distinctive, and clearly someone handy with a saw has built this one up. I wonder who built it. I wonder what the story is with this one. Did it start out as a saloon that had a maybe bit of a biff in the back perhaps, and someone decided to make it into this shooting brake style? There's the Rover badge there, and I've got a little air vent there, presumably. Yeah, that's a little air vent. Slidey. Are they fixed or are they? Not quite sure. I think they're probably fixed. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they slide. Or do they? I'm not sure actually. But either way, doesn't really matter. But lovely, lovely creation to make all this.
It follows the door, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if you look at that,
yeah, that line, that line
a
follows that, doesn't
curve
it?
along the whole side of the P4 shape.
Yeah.
So you have to bring it in actually.
Yeah.
Or
So
else
the
it'll be
original.
way over the rear wheels.
Yes.
So you have to.
So they had to do that, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had to sort of do this tapering business. I really hadn't appreciated that just by having a quick glance at the photos. Just how much effort's gone into that. That's really amazing. What a practical thing. What a handy thing that would be. Yeah, I'm sort of talking myself into it, kind of. I'm not sure. I think it's about 7.5 to 8.5. I mean, you wouldn't stand a hope of building that for that sort of money. We're talking sort of Morris Traveller money, but something very, very different. And yeah, I'm really surprised how much I actually like that. Right, anyway, we must carry on. We've got a much earlier P4 alongside, and this has got the earlier back on it, which really tapers down. If you saw the video I did at the Telford Steam Railway just a few weeks ago, you'll see there was quite a few Rovers there on that particular day. There's a lovely Cyclops Rover there. This is post-Cyclops, so a little bit later, I think. Let's have a quick look at the front, but yeah, you can see the back of these really tapers down a lot more compared to the later P4s that you more often see. The paintwork is either original or repainted, but a very, very long time ago, so it's sort of mellowed in. You can see the aluminium doors that were standard fitment on P4s for most of the production. Later cars were steel door skinned, but most of them have the aluminium skins that we see on this one. Looks very original in here. Yeah. The front wings curve round a lot more compared to the later P4. So this is a Rover 60, so it's not the Cyclops, not the old one, but this was the one that came after the Cyclops. The Cyclops is different grille and the central lamp in the middle there. Two very, very appealing Rover P4s. Harley's doing his best Bergerac impression now in the Triumph Roadster. Big, swoopy, open top, drop head. The dash is lovely, isn't it? It's a big, huge slab of wood, isn't it?
Amazing.
Really, really tasty.
It's actually a lovely car to, because I haven't been in one of these, so I wanted to try it. It's a magnificent view over the front.
Great view,
very
is it?
powerful
Yeah.
feeling. It's like the RM, quite wide.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's quite a car,
These
isn't it?
are
It's
more
quite
affordable
cosy.
now, aren't they?
Yeah, quite cosy because it's for the length of car. The sort of passenger compartment is not that big. But saying that, the squab, it's got a huge squab on it actually.
Yes, there's not much space there.
Yeah.
But it does go down.
Yeah, it is quite squidgy, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite softly sprung, isn't it? And you've got the seat in the back here. You've got the mother-in-law or the dicky seat in the back, so you can pop these handles, and this folds back, and then you've got this little fold forward screens for the rear seat passengers, and you've got the step either end of the back bumper there to clamber in and out. It's not often that you see cars with dicky seats in the back where they have the rear seat passengers have their own screen arrangements. So yeah, quite luxury, quite mollycoddled.
The estimate on this?
What's the estimate?
9 to 10.
9 to 10, is it?
Wow.
It's a lot of car, isn't it? I mean,
That is amazing.
it's quality cars, and this is what I love
Great nick as well.
about older classic cars. I mean, I appreciate most old cars just for the fact that they've survived as much as anything. But when you can buy quality like this for relatively modest amounts, you know, if I had the money, I'd just be buying this sort of thing all the time, and I'd have a huge warehouse or a huge museum just to appreciate the quality of cars. Do you like that, do you?
I do.
I didn't think I'd hear that.
I know.
I didn't think I'd hear you say that.
Surprised by this and the standard.
You've been, yes, because you've never really been that interested in those little standards either, but now you've actually had a look at it in the person and tried it out for size. So let's have a quick look under here.
Plaque for you, though.
Yeah, so this is a what?
Nice plaque for you, though.
Oh yeah, that's nice, isn't it? A Burgess acoustic product. Oh, yeah, very nice. Yeah, it's got a Jaguar oil filler on it. But yeah, so this is sort of, this is a contemporary, so this is the 1800, is it? Oh yes, it's big. It's set into the side of the engine there. Yeah, because they did 2 litre as well. And you've got all the tools on the bulkhead here as well. So this is a contemporary of the Triumph Renown, the big saloons, the razor edge saloons, and the little Mayflowers.
That's great.
Do you?
A 9 to 10.
Yeah, it's a lot of car, isn't it? I mean, you'd cut.
Someone who doesn't know anything about cars.
You'd cut quite the dash. It certainly looks like more than a £9,000 car. I mean, you're talking sort of a few-year-old Fiesta for that sort of money, aren't you? So, yeah. Buy one of these instead.
It's quite tight on the roof.
I think they are quite sort of cosy.
I think small interiors.
Yeah, I think they're quite cosy, the interiors. So yes, so Harley startles me by liking a little standard flying 8, and indeed this magnificent Triumph 1800 Roadster. I mean, it's an amazing looking car. I mean, the proportions are pretty wild, and the huge curvy front and these magnificent lamps on the front. Twin hooters as well. I always like to see a matching pair of hooters on the front of these older cars. And the proud Triumph globe there. Of course, it won't be too much longer after this than that Standard actually bought out Triumph. If they hadn't done already, they may have even done so by this point. The Roadster Club badge there, Early Automobile Association badge as well. Yes, it is a good looking badge, isn't it? Yeah, quite a car, isn't it? I mean, amazing shape, beautiful shaped car. Right, but we must continue, and we have.
I like this as well.
This is the Riley RMB, I think. So this is the 2.5, isn't it? Has it got the pale blue badge? Yeah, pale blue background. So that tells us this is the 2.5. So the RMA. That was the 1.5 litre. This is the RMB 2.5 litre. I actually spent an unhealthy amount of time looking at the photos of this one on the website yesterday, thinking, maybe something like this would be quite a fun car to own one day.
40s cars are really good at the moment.
This sort of era. So between vintage and sort of your regular 50s, 60s classics, it's sort of that sort of era where a lot of people don't even think about these sort of age of cars now, but we do. And my dad, Harley's granddad, he had a couple of Riley RMs back in the 1960s. He had a Roadster, which he regrets getting rid of somewhat now, and he had a 1.5 saloon. So 2.5 Roadster and a 1.5 saloon, the RMA. But this is the RMB, slightly bigger car compared to the RMA, and like I say, 2.5 litre engine under that bonnet. But these are lovely. So to look at, they're kind of pre-war and everything but build date. The construction, ash frame, quite a complicated roof. So if you're looking at one of these, you always want to have a good look at the roof. And I remember reading about this one, that this had driven 160 miles to the sale from, I think, London way, just to get here for this particular auction. I think it's no reserve as well. So whatever this goes for, that's what it's going for, plus a bit of commission and stuff. But yeah. Wants to replace an overrider, but I can't imagine that would be particularly difficult to source. Yep, so again, it's had older paint job, which, well, paint is paint. All it's there for really is just to protect the metal beneath it. Let's have a quick look inside at this well-travelled RMB, because what I'm appreciating more and more now is cars that have seen regular use. That's one of the reasons we bought our little MG. Daily use, this one. The reason I bought RMG is because, yes, it's been restored, but then it was taken around France and etc. and took part on various club runs. I found photos of it online abroad, and yeah, there is an awful lot to be said for cars that have been used recently and regularly, because to get a car that hasn't been used regularly back into reliable condition is not always straightforward. Very, very original looking in here. Again, lashings of wood, proper car. I'll have to have a sit in this actually. Just to I don't know, but I wouldn't say no to one of these. Even though I'm mainly a pre-war.
I'll shut the door in on you.
You're going to shoot. Harley's going to close the door just so I can get the full experience. It is extremely cozy in here, in a good way. These little pull-down sun visors. I love the little clips. So you've got the little pull-down. These are spring-loaded, these are. I hope you can see that okay. And that just, look at that, how lovely is that? So you just pull that little button down. It's on the spring loading, and then it just releases it. This is why I love cars like this. Great shape to the rear view mirror as well. Lovely view out of a split windscreen. I do love a split windscreen. Very long bonnet. Again, the front is slightly longer on the 2.5 litre cars. Isn't that beautiful? What a wonderful place to sit. If I just move the camera back there, you can get a real idea of what it's like to sit in this magnificent place. There's quite a lot of engine under there. Harley's just having a quick look. So the 2.5 litre twin cam engine in the Riley RMB. Yeah, very, very appealing dashboard in these as well. Just look at all the proper switch gear there. But, yeah.
You can tell this is a nice car because I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Oh right, so, so you can tell it's a quality car because he can't hear his dad wittering on. Yeah. Isn't that lovely? What a great place. Be interested to know if anyone watching this video has had a Riley RM, RMA, RMB, or one of the later models, the later variations. What do you think of them? What do you rate these? Do you not rate them? I'd be interested to know your thoughts and memories about them. But yeah, I have to say I'm liking this. And as someone who tends to prefer pre-war cars, this post-war RMB really has got a lot going for it. I do like that a lot. No, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it's no reserve on it.
I'm pretty sure this is no reserve. Yeah, so you've had a look. Right here. Now, if you watch the channel regularly, you'll remember this little standard was in last time as well. So it's back in again. Quite a bonny little car, about 3-ish, 3.5, something like that is the estimate on this. So mid 1930s, spoked wheels, so about 35-ish, something in that car. So around about £3,000, I'm sure, would probably get you that. And it's actually quite a spacious car. And as I was saying, with the little standard Flying 8 just over there, the Standard Motor Club, great organisation for advice and tips on keeping it running, etc. Yeah, quite a car, quite a lofty roof line, so if you're partial to wearing a top hat, then this could be the car for you. Look at that. Again, shuts properly, just how we like it. The 100 mile of Ypres passed. So this one clearly gets around, and the 100 miles of Bruges, in Bruges. So yeah, it looks to be a well-travelled standard. So we like that kind of thing. Harley's just inspecting the hood on the 1800 Roadster. I'm surprised he likes that actually, because he's a pre-war car guy in many respects, or sports cars. But I wasn't expecting him to like that Triumph Roadster as much as he does. He's obviously coming round, so that's good to see. Opening windscreen on this one. Lovely interior. It looks like the West of England cloth, I think, has been replaced at some point in time. I mean, that's not an inexpensive job. And lots of the older cars that you see, the interiors, so the headlining is looking a bit second-hand, but this one actually looks really nice. Original seats, door trims, probably original carpets. Yeah, lovely. And again, you know, something like this would be a pretty good introduction to owning a pre-war car. If you're used to sort of cars of the 1950s, maybe early 60s, then to buy something like this isn't too big a step back. Obviously you'll need some whip spanners though. Yeah, what a cracker. In a very affordable way into roomy pre-war car ownership there. Plenty of room for 4 people, lovely comfy leather seats as well. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. And we go to Morris Motors now. This is a Morris 8 Series 1. Series 1, as we all know now, spoked wheels and a chrome radiator surround. So yeah, pretty good to see that. So this was the replacement for the Morris Minor. And we've, as regulars will know, we've got a 31 Morris Minor just being fettled up at home at the moment. This is the 8. There are actually some videos about the Morris 8 that we had a few years ago. There's several of those on the channel if you go digging into the darker recesses of the channel. The estimate on this is about 5 to 6, so a little bit more than the standard there. But again, these little Morrises are well supported. The Morris register has its own spares scheme, and they will keep you on the right track, I am sure. Opening windscreen as well, so lots of ventilation. This is a 2-door saloon, rear hinged. Again, doors open and close really nicely. You don't want to see any dropping on the doors, especially on a 2-door car where the doors are quite long and heavy. That puts quite a lot of strain on the door pillar here, so you always want to make sure that the doors don't drop and you don't have to lift them a bit to get them shut, because if you do, that probably suggests you might have to do a bit of fettling. But, yeah, there we go. The squab's been changed, but otherwise the interior looks to be pretty original on this little Morris 8. It's a 918cc. It doesn't sound a lot, but it's not a super heavy car either, so it will get you around very, very agreeably. And in fact, the engine went on to be used in the Morris 8 Series E and the early post-war Morris Minor MMs. So if it's good enough, if it had enough poke to pull a larger Morris Minor around in the post-war years, 1948 onwards, then it's got more than enough grunt to pull around this little Morris 8. Proper old plates there as well. A couple of the pork pie rear lamps. And again, lovely shape, early 30s shape, the way the back of the body curves around, then flares out at the bottom under the luggage rack. I really like that. So yeah, even though it's a late 30s car, the shape of it, the design, is more of a nod really to the slightly earlier 1930s. There's the 8 on there. Right, we carry on, and we've just mentioned Morris 8 Series E, and here we have the Morris 8 Series E. And what's nice to see about this one, it's still got the original slopey headlamps. These 6-volt lamps, similar in shape, but a bit smaller, and yeah, similar in shape to the VW Beetle lamps in many ways, flared in to the wings. So thoughts, just a few thoughts now, sort of into ideas about aerodynamics and wind cheating designs. Who remembers the Chrysler Airflow with the built-in flush mounted headlights in the front wings? Very, very curvy radiator. So you've got the Series 1 here, the Morris 8 Series 1, with its very upright radiator, much earlier lines. The Series 2 was virtually the same to look at, but had a painted rad surround, but the overall shape, it's not quite vertical grille. But then the Series E came along, and there's a much more streamlined car. This is a 2-door saloon. You can get 4 doors and the little Taurus as well. But you can really see how they were going for the slightly more aerodynamic look by this point in time. These were built either side of the Second World War. Let's have a quick peer inside. Easy clean wheels as well. That was something introduced on the Morris 8 Series 2s. Rear hinge doors, looks very, very original in there. Yeah, pretty much as you would expect. Same engine as the Series 1, 918cc, little side valve 4-cylinder engine. Very, very smart little car, and I would imagine the estimate on that, I haven't got the figures to hand, but I would have thought probably in a similar ballpark to the earlier car alongside. Now these are quite nice. This is a little bit bigger, so we're looking at another Morris here, but this one with the wire wheels, and yeah, I think that has actually got quite a lot to recommend it. I like the look of that a lot. What's the estimate on this one? I'm thinking it's around the 3-ish as well, that sort of neck of the woods. It's a 10.6, this one, 1934. The estimate is 5 to 6.
That's that car.
No, that's a 10.6. Oh, is this?
It's 12.
Oh, it's the 12. Oh, so this is a 12 again, right? Okay, there's several blue Morrises here today.
Yes,
But let's have a quick look at this one then. So again, we're not talking many, many thousands of pounds.
I think it is 3 to 4.
Around 3, 4-ish. So that sort of, it's going to be that sort of ballpark. Quite old paint on it, but that's actually, it's a nice looking little car. I used to have a coupe one of these. I think it was a 10, the one I had, but it still had the spoked wheels. The 10 and the 12 shared the same body shell. Let's have a look in here. So, yeah, very, very original. Look at that. It's very nicely appointed inside. Again, leather seating, original headlining. It's not perfect, but You could live with that. I could live with that, certainly. And very, very stylish dash. We've got a few bits and bobs on the seat there. I love the dash in these, actually. I really like the shape. Very Art Deco shaped instrumentation on this one. Have you seen the shape of the Speedo in these? They look really cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A really, really good looking car, I think. Yes.
So good, isn't it?
Shuts proper, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. And again, I just like this slightly earlier 30s look with the chrome rads and the spoked wheels. So yeah, interesting car, and you don't see too many of these around. They've got a December 36 tax disc in the window. So it's one of those sort of cars. It's the same with Austins in many ways. The small ones tend to get preserved for the most part, like your Austin 7s and such like, but the 10s and the 12s, not so much. But actually, I think they're really good looking little cars. It's probably been painted at some point in its life, so it's got that sort of slightly weathered look, but that really appeals to me. Yeah. For just, £3,000, I would imagine, is a sort of ballpark for that one. Again, a lot of character. You could have a lot of fun with that. You don't have to go at a zillion miles an hour to have fun. And to be honest, pottering around in an old car, it's a lot more relaxing. And on the end of the row here, we've got an Austin 7. So we've seen a couple of Chummies. This is the Austin 7 Ruby. Now, is this a Mark 1 or is it the Mark 2 saloon? This is a Mark 2, so it's a lot curvier around this rear side window, and you can actually wind these up and down partially. The earlier Rubies, they have like a window frame rather round here. It's a little bit squarer, and the window pops out a little bit. Must be forward hinged on the earlier cars. And on the Mark II Ruby, this is a little bit more raked back. On the Mark I, it's a little bit more vertical. So those are the two main giveaways when you look at one of these cars to decide if you're looking at a Mark 1 or, in this case, a Mark 2. But I think mechanically there's nothing really to choose between them. Again, big opening sunroof. That was a feature of so many saloons in the 1930s. Really nicely set up inside here. Roof is nice. Dashboard is all as you would expect. Just a fun little car. So what's that going to go for? 4-ish, 3.5, 4-ish, that sort of ballpark I would have thought. But yeah, if you're interested, have a quick look on brightwells.com and you'll get the full lowdown on this particular car, and indeed every car here. Right, where are we going next? We're going to have a look at the Alvis. I think we're going to have a look at the Alvis. So we've actually got two Alvis TD21s. There's one over there, the fixed head, and this, the drop head coupe. This one dates to 1959. Estimate on this, 45 to 50. The values of the open top cars versus the fixed heads are miles apart. This, like I say, 45 to 50 is the estimate on this TD21. I do really, really like TD21s. I think they are such classy looking cars, beautiful looking designs. I think based originally on a design by Graeber. They bodied a number of the earlier Alvises, and then Alvis thought, that looks good, so we'll produce cars ourselves. I think these were actually bodied by Park Ward, but yeah, classy motor. All important hood, looks to be in very good condition. Straight 6 engine in these. And yeah, very, very classy machine. Would you go for the open top car? Would you go for the closed car? We'll have a look at the closed car in a minute. This has got the manual floor shift in it. Autos were available, as we will see in just a moment. A lovely car, and as I often point out, when the wings are leaded in to the rest of the scuttle, so you don't have unsightly joins here, you can always tell that you're looking at a properly built quality car. Got the mascot on there as well. I love the colour as well. One of my favourite colours for a TD21. If you've been on the channel for a long time, you'll remember I went to go and see a gentleman who's a specialist in post-war Alvises, and had a crawl around his barns, which were rammed with Alvis TD, TE and a few TF21s. Right, we carry on, and here, well, we've got a left-hand drive Jaguar. This, an XK140, it's a much chubbier grill vent the slats there compared to the earlier 120. Bigger bumpers as well compared to the previous XK120, but this is quite rare, being the drop head coupe version. Got leather bonnet straps on this one as well. Estimate on this 55 to 60, so a little bit more than the Alvis alongside. Which one would you prefer? Well, there we go, there's a question for you. Looks to be in good condition. I like the racy big fuel filler, that's neat. That looks pretty good. Some pretty hefty pipes sticking out the back there as well. Wowzers. Did they all have rear quarter bumpers? I thought 140s had full width bumpers, but maybe I'm thinking of just the regular fixed heads, not the drop head coupe as we're looking at here. Lovely enamel badge there. Jaguar very proud of their Le Mans successes, of course, and rightly so. Yeah, lovely looking car. 55 to 60,000 pounds. A bit more interior space in these compared to the 120 as well, because one of the few criticisms that were levelled at 120s back in the day was that you were quite close to the steering wheel. It's very close now, the big pointy thing in the middle of the steering wheel as well, so it was a little bit cosy in the 120, so you did get more legroom in this, the XK140, and this one has a very louvered bonnet as well, just for a bit of extra engine cooling. And there's a lot to be said for having extra engine cooling, especially when you're sat in traffic. Yeah, two great post-war Brits there. Now we go across the channel to Germany, to Deutschland. We've got this, the Borgward Isabella. Not just any Borgward Isabella. Sometimes we see saloons, occasionally the Combi estate, but this is the two-door Isabella Coupe. This one cuts quite the dash. It dates to 59, estimate 24 to 26. It's a very rakish looking car. Whenever I see one of these, I'm always getting sort of like Merc SL vibes whenever I see one of these. Is it nice inside, is it? There's the Isabella, lovely mascot. Yeah. Oodles of chrome fittings, but yeah, all this makes me think Mercedes-Benz.
It's like the 190.
Very stylish, all this. The Borgward script along the front wing there. Big long doors, very sort of, it's almost got a French sort of look to it, I think.
Well, I think it's quite American.
Yeah.
The back especially, I think it's, I mean, it's a lot of things, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you could...
There's a bit of Carmen gear in it as well, I kind of think.
Yes, there is a bit of, you're right, Carmen gear. Let's have a quick look inside here. Beautifully appointed. Just carefully open that. Look at that. Wowzers. Just needs Audrey Hepburn to be driving it, and then that would complete the look, I would suggest. Yeah, look at the instrument cluster in there. Ooh, so stylish. Yeah, just a great era for car design. Let's just lean in here. Look at this whole bank of switches. The built-in Blaupunkt radio there as well. What a swish car, look at that. We've got some cosy little seats in the back for little people. Yeah, if you've got any children, well, this could be the perfect car to pop out on a nice sunny day, pop along to a car meeting somewhere. Nice secure clunk as well, very Mercedes-Benz-esque door shut on that. The Isabella Coupe. That really is a very eye-catching car. I love the shape of the rear lamps as well. Yeah, like Harley, as Harley said, a bit of a Carmen gear vibe going on with that one as well, so quite a few influences there, I would suggest. Right, now we're back to Alvis, back to dear old Blighty, and another Alvis TD21. This time a fixed head coupe, and this one, the estimate is about 15ish, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, big price difference compared to the open top cars. I think the open cars are probably that bit rarer, and yeah, but if I was going to buy one, I would probably buy one of these. Of the, you know, I just like fixed head coupes. I think clearly the market disagrees with me, but this is an automatic. So like I say, manual and autos were offered of these. Lovely straight six engine under the bonnet. I was having quite a long hard look at one of these at an auction a little while ago, last year sometime I think it was, and I could really see the appeal of one of these being in the garage one day. Like I say, the estimate on this is about 15, that sort of ballpark. So we're talking, you know, it's a chunk of money. There's a couple of little imperfections just here and there as pointed out on the website, so you would want to do just a couple of things to it, but I just think it's a very handsome car, and for the sort of same price as a fairly middling, say, Jaguar Mark II or something like that. And I mean, I do like Mark IIs, but there's a lot of them around, but I just think these just that little bit classier perhaps. Hope I don't upset too many Jaguar enthusiasts, of which I count myself amongst, but I just think these are lovely looking cars. Yeah, loads of room in the back as well, unlike the little Borgward alongside. Well, I say little, it's the same length, it's virtually the same length as the Alvis, but yeah, a lot more roomy in here compared to the little German car alongside. Yeah, very stylish cars. I love how the moulding runs down the centre of the boot lid there and then lines up with the handle. I was chatting to someone at the other auction that I mentioned last year, and he was telling me how it's all very important that the handle lines up correctly with the central boot trim there. Twin reverse lights combined with, I think, the number plate lights as well, but yeah, pretty nice, very nice car. Lovely dark blue, this one. I say auto box in this particular car. Good wafter, nice straight 600 bonnet. It's about 3 litre, I think it is. Can't quite remember. Yeah, it's a smidgen under 3 litre, I think. About 15 grand, price of a fairly average Mark II Jaguar. I think I would be definitely going for this. Might not be quite as quick as the Jag, but it'd be as quick as the 2.4 and the 3.4, I bet. Yeah, 3.8 Jag would probably leave it behind, but you're not going to do traffic light Grand Prix in a car like this. And alongside we've got a big Healey, the Austin Healey 3000. Is this the Mark 2 or the 3? It is the 3, yeah, with the extra lamps, 2 lamps under the main headlight on these, the Mark 3. Quite a late Austin Healey 3000. This has got the wind-up windows, small seats in the back as well. Yeah, tiny little seats in the back. Real great sounding cars as well. One of the first things I recorded off the TV as a youth was the Pirelli Classic Marathon when it was televised back in 1988 on the telly, and I think I've still got it somewhere. And yeah, seeing the big Healeys racing through the mountains on the Pirelli Classic Rally, well, that was it left a real impression on me. And the sound of these, especially when they've got the side exiting exhausts like the Works big Healeys of the early 1960s, they sound phenomenal. Big BMC engine, so this was a collaboration between Donald Healey of the Healey Motor Company and the British Motor Corporation. So Austin provided the engines, Jensen produced the bodies on these, if I remember right. And yeah, so it was a sort of a conglomeration, a partnership between several different car manufacturers that resulted in the Austin Healeys. And this is quite a late example of the 3 litre straight 6 powered big Healey, the Austin Healey 3000. What a cracking car that is. Right, we might as well carry on and just have a quick look down the rest of this row. Got an MGB Roadster here. This one on a K plate. A few little additions and upgrades on this one. Leather seating, wood, walnut veneered door cappings. Bit of walnut veneer in the middle centre panel there as well. Was this originally green or would this have been black? I'm not quite sure. A slightly different instrumentation, the faces of the gauges upgraded as well. Slightly smaller steering wheel. So yeah, a few choice mods on this one. Very clean looking. Probably Old English white. I'm not sure what the official colour is, but you get the idea. So on a K, so about 1971, something like that is the date of that one. Right, and we go along here. Let's have a quick look. Got some later cars. Lotus Elise. Is that Elise? No, it's an Exige, isn't it, with a fixed roof? Isn't that the Exige? I think.
I think it looks great with that body kit.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, quite a groovy looking car. We've got a Merc 190E, slightly lowered. Is this one of the Cosworths? It could be one of the 190E Cosworths. I've not checked up on this. Let's have a look, see if there's any clues at the back. They did a 2.3 and a 2.5. Yep, this is the 2.3 16. Wow. So that could be, I assume, especially with the right body kit on it as well. I'm assuming this is the Cosworth tweaked 2.3 16. Yeah, manual box as well.
Merc interiors are so good.
They're just incredible quality, the Mercs. I mean, I know I keep banging on about it, but you know, I mean, how old is this? Probably late 1980s, I guess. And look at the condition of the interior; it's just mental. C85, 85, 86 is a C plate. Oh, there we go. Yeah,
that's great.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got an RS Turbo, one of the Series 1 RS Turbo Escorts alongside, front-wheel drive, turbocharged car. I quite like the look of those, actually. I've always liked the sort of the white with the blue little transfers there and the stickers down the side. I always think those two colours work really well together on these. And again, that's similar age to the Merc alongside. Got a Renault 5 GT Turbo. Lovely shade of dark metallic blue, bit of a pocket rocket they were. The Porsche 968, so it's a CS Club Sport. So 968 was a reworked 944 basically. So a different front end, pop forward headlights like those on the 928, and different back end as well. Midland Automobile Club member, so clearly the owner of this one is a motorsport enthusiast. Yeah, different back end as well compared to the 944. Quite a squidgy back end. This is sort of like impact resistant, so this sort of squidges in if you back into a lamppost. And yeah, don't tell me how I know about, or don't ask me rather, how I know about the squidginess of the back of these. Right, let's keep going. And oof, very classy looking Aston drop head just on the end here. AMV4S, the private personalised registration number. Aston Martin Owners Club badge on the front. So what's this, a Virage drop head?
Virage Volante.
Volante, yeah. Open top Astons were often called Volante. Yeah, all very comfortable, all very, very agreeable. Rightio, let's go back over this way and just see where we are. We've got a Mark II Mini here, the Austin Mini Cooper. Very bonny again, old English white, black roof, great colour scheme. I like the steering wheel on that one as well. Proper nice leather rim and the polished alloy centre to it. But yeah, very, very neat indeed. 100 mile an hour speedo, I think I can just about see in there, which is correct, I think, for a Mini Coupe. They do look good, don't they? Slightly bigger grille compared to the Mark 1s, different badging, nice wide 10-inch steelies. Yeah, looks like a bit of a giggle. Right, we carry on over here. A slightly modified Mark II Golf. Not quite sure what the story is with this, but looks like it's seen a bit of track action. Many switches, so I'm not quite sure what the story is with that. Got a Lancia Beta here. One of the open top Lancia Betas, quite a rare sight now. The Tin Worm did for many of these. This one on an S-Reg, so about 77, that sort of age, sort of towards the later years, latter end of the 1970s. Looks very, very original actually. If this has been repainted, it wasn't recently. I wonder if it's a low mileage car. Very stylish seating in there. Oof. Again, that looks very, very comfy, and you probably wouldn't get me out of there if I tried those out for size. Let's have a quick peer in through the big opening sunroof. It's a very convenient way of looking inside. Yeah, all very agreeable. I like that. Yep. And well, what's this alongside it? Yeah, you didn't think I was going to miss this out, did you? Another Morris 8 Series 1, but this time a little Tourer. So open top motoring is the name of the game of this one. Yeah, we've got little side screens in there as well. But Yeah, bit of open air motoring for someone there. Not sure what the estimate is offhand on that particular car. Same engine as the two little Morris 8s we were looking at over there, so just under 1 litre in capacity. But yeah, nice little car. That may be in this auction, or it may be in a later one. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Right, anyway, we don't want to miss anything out. BER 599, the registration number of that one. Rear hinge doors, little pop-up semaphores, just set in to the panel there. But yeah, actually, once you're in, lots of leg room, plenty of room in there. But, yeah, interesting, quite a few pre-war cars. This one we have seen before, this little Renault Gordini. Quite a bonkers looking car, this one. Many period looking stickers just to give it that really unique look. And look at the wonderful roof rack as well. Ooh, we like that. Left hand drive, so the Dauphine was the replacement for the 4CV, and long term, as I remember, we had a 4CV, or the Renault 750 to be precise, which was a UK built Renault 4CV. There's the front end of the Lancia Beta. Quite a sharp looking car actually, that one. But yeah, pretty cool to see this Gordini here. The Gordini, there was the tuned up, the souped up version of the Renault Dauphine. Some of them had spoked wheels, some of them had the steel wheels like you see here. But yeah, looks like a bit of fun, that one. Engine in the tail, just like the 4CV. Right, we carry on. Got some later modern classics here. So we'll just have a quick scoot along. Peugeot 306, late 90s. Is this the GTI 6? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Yep, the GTI 6. I remember when they came out. A 6-speed gearbox. That was quite the thing back in the day. We've got a 3 Series and E46 Cabriolet. Let's have a quick look, see which one it is. 330. So the 3 litre straight 6. They sound gorgeous, those engines. Wonderful era for engines. The ultimate driving machine. Got a Lotus Elite here. Paul Matty Sports Cars, name very synonymous with Lotus sales, going way back. Looks to be in really good nick actually. Great colour as well. I think that really does suit it. Lift out roof panel, so a bit of wind in the hair motoring. And by all accounts, these are a great steer as well. Really light, chuckable car. Just how Lotuses should be. Got a track modified Clio here. Lots going on with that. Look at this little smart car. By gum, in the livery of Mobile One, Mercedes there, West, of course West McLaren, the livery of the F1 cars, going back a little bit now.
The late 90s, isn't
yeah, perfect little city car again, yeah. West. Look at this here, by gum. Engine hidden away in the back here. Pretty wild interior. Strictly a 2-seater, no suggestion that you could carry more than 2 people in this, but for in a town it's just ideal, isn't it? Roof back as well. Look at that. Yeah, it's a bit of a giggle. I don't think I've seen one like that before. But yes, the engine is hidden away under there. Yeah, you see Brabus ones occasionally.
McLaren one, isn't it?
Yeah, just quite a funky little car. Rightio, we carry on. Honda Civic Type R. I have quite the following now. Little Renault Clio. Is this a Clio Williams? It's got that sort of look about it. Doesn't say Williams on the side. Nice set of wheels on it. It's a 16 valve Clio, but in that lovely shade of blue that they did the Williams in as well. Remains of the old Renault Elf sticker in the back window, so that's good to see. Yeah. Neat little cars. Neat little design, I think. Quite appealing little cars. There's a very much less sporty one of these just appeared in someone's garden, not a million miles away from where we live, I noticed. So maybe there's a Renault owner, Renault enthusiast in our neighbourhood now. Right, we carry on. Let's have a quick look up here. The E33 series. That's a 4-door saloon. Harley trying out the little MG midget. This is a 1969 MG midget. The estimate is this 6.5 to 7.5.
About that, yeah.
It's about that sort of ballpark, wasn't it? I think it was that sort of neck of the woods. Yep. So this 1969. So this will have the 1275 in it. Big chunky bumpers. Little extra badges there. Union Jack and the checkered flag there. Quite cosy little cars, quite chuckable little cars. They go very well indeed. Like I say, 1275 A series engine, and they can trace their roots all the way back to the Austin Healey Sprites and the Sprite Mark I of the late 1950s. Is this a round arch or a square arch? It's a square arch car, as most of them are. Nice little steering wheel in this one. Wooden gear knob, otherwise looks to be pretty original. Hood folded down, but proper folding hood on these. Yeah. Looks like quite a bonny little car with these racing wing mirrors as well. Nice shade of green. Yeah, smart little car. Someone's going to have a bit of fun with that, I'm sure. Beamer there. And now, you'll have to trust me on this. This is a car. It may not look much like a car, but this is a pre-war AC, a 1933 AC 1656. It was a drop head coupe, so it's quite the project. No reserve on this. Cool, by gum. So aluminium engine block. That suggests that probably isn't as oil tight as maybe it once was. So, has that been in the bottom of the sea?
That's another engine block, isn't it?
Wow, so...
Is that another engine block there?
Yeah, there is another engine block which looks a bit healthier over the back there. So this started out life as an AC 1656 drop head coupe. Someone has clearly taken it to pieces. So that's the bulkhead. So right, so that's the bit that the windscreen would go on the back there, going across. So you can kind of see that's how it would have been. So yeah, a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, this one. What would you do with it? Well, what's it, 1933, so I suggest someone will probably make this into a special of some sort. If all the important bits are here, i.e. chassis, axles, oh yeah, there's some SUs over there. Another engine block which looks a lot healthier. Obviously you need to know that you're looking at the right parts, but you've got the radiator there, lovely honeycomb radiator. The AC badge, lamps and the lamp bar. The all-important chassis, front axle. Well, it'll be dismantled, won't it? It'll probably be dismantled somewhere. Solid rear axle. So you've got the makings of something. Whether it go back to being a drop head coupe, the cost of doing that would be pretty spectacular, I would have thought.
It'd have to be probably your granddad's car or something.
Yeah.
To put it back to standard.
There we go. Triple SUs. So I suspect that's the sump. That's the oil drain. Yeah. You got a couple of sumps. So you got lots of bits. So you may have quite a few extra bits. Oh yeah, there's another sump over there. There's a gearbox there with a nice gated change. So yeah, a lot to do. And this is no reserve, so whatever it goes for, I mean, even if you've got a similar car, it's worth buying just for the parts. I mean, to have all these parts just on your shelves in your garage, if you run a similar car, then this suddenly becomes gold dust.
Yeah, I mean, where are you going to find that gearbox?
Exactly. But as the chassis is here, and looks like the axles and bits are here, it may even still be registered, who knows.
It has it's not a nice thing to say, but it has a good registration on it.
Yeah, there is. So it could still be registered, possibly, who knows. I've got the front axle there. Oh, I see. Steering column. So you could make something out of this if you're suitably gifted. But no, I suspect
I've never seen anything like that.
That is probably garden art now.
Planting.
Yes. 2 SU electric pumps. So this must have been quite the car. There are some old photos of it on the website, of it in its glory years. So yeah, bit of a Meccano project, this one, but if you've got the vision, you could probably make something out of that. Rightio, anyway, we've got a TVR Grand Tourer, I think, here. It's a little fiberglass, very short wheelbase, TVR.
These are deceptive though, this is a huge project.
That is, yeah, there's a fair bit to do
they have
there.
A very flaky chassis on these, don't they? Tubular chassis.
Yeah, yes, yeah, they've got...
open ends, aren't they?
Are they? Open-ended tubular chassis. Oh, right. Yeah, well, you'd take the body off, wouldn't you? You'd have to. Yeah, super looking little thing, isn't it? You know, that would just be fantastic if it's restored. Hopefully someone will take that on. I like that. I like the shape of the window as well.
But it probably looks a lot better than it is.
Yeah, well, fiberglass bodies can be sort of can be deceptive, can't they? What's all this here? So is this? So what's this? Is that TV? That's a Mohawk. It's a 1500cc BMC engine. But yeah, that's probably out of that then. But the wire wheel, is it on wires? Oh, it is on wires. Right, so car and bits appear to belong together. Right here, where are we up to? So we have this, the mighty Ford Galaxy 500 XL. That certainly occupies quite the chunk of tarmac. Pretty amazing looking cars, like the Jaguar 420G. You're going to need a decent sized garage. Yeah, proper waft of these big Ford Galaxies. Yeah, pretty cool. Pillarless two-door coupe as well. So that certainly has quite the look about it, as does this Volvo P1800 the estate version of the P1800 This one's great. I love the colour. So Volvo's very sturdy, dependable four-cylinder engine. Again, all leaded. The joins across here. So yeah, beautiful car. Really solid. The early P1800s, the bodies for those were built by Jensen, just like the on the Austin Healey we were looking at before. That Volvo weren't too happy with the quality of the bodies, so they swiftly brought in production of the body shells back over to Gothenburg. These cars, these were all Volvo bodied as far as I know. Jensen had nothing to do with it by this point in time. Very sleek, quite a long front end. Take the Volvo badges off, you really wouldn't think that was a Volvo if you didn't know your cars. Quite a low roofline, very sleek. Similar in shape really to the Reliant Scimitar GTE with a long rear, shallow side windows there, so very practical. Rear seats fold down for a bit of added carrying capacity. Pretty cool. Manual box floor change, probably overdrive I would have thought. The ES, that had fuel injection, so a four-cylinder fuel injected engine. Yeah, ES, there we go. Yeah. Shuts carefully. Yeah, you wouldn't want to shatter that window, would you? Yeah, pretty cool looking car. Really distinctive looking car, those P1800 ESs. Right, let's get a bit of a wriggle on. Daimler here, the 2.5 litre Daimler, this one late 67, early 1968 in white. Very presentable car. It's got the cutaway rear arches, as we often see on Jaguar Mark IIs and indeed these Daimlers. Auto box, I think. Nice period radio in there. Yeah. Nice leather odours wafting out through the open window here. Sleek looking car. So this the Daimler, hence the twin pipes out to the back, the V8, one there, Edward Turner designed V8 engine, 2.5, very cool indeed. The V8 250, at some point in time they were also called the 2.5 litre. Make sure that the car is in park and handbrake is on. This car will start in gear. Right, so there you have been warned. Auto shift, column shift. There's your gear selector just on the top of the column there. Rev counter, quite high revving, 6,000 is where the red line begins. much higher revving than the XK engines fitted to the Mark IIs. Bit of a jewel of an engine by all accounts. Those in the know really seem to rate the Daimler versions, possibly even in preference to the smaller engined Jaguar Mark IIs. Yes, pretty smart car, that one. We've got a couple of V-dubs over here, the splitters. This one looks to be fairly up and complete-ish. Fixed rear windows, front windows on that. Sometimes you see opening windows on these split window campers. Probably on a later registration. This one, yeah, a bit more of a project, but such is the popularity of these V-dub campers, there is no doubt at all that this will be restored. Lots and lots of bits and bobs in there. Looks like it's been sandblasted, or at least a lot of it has been sandblasted and primed, then probably been sat for a little while. I'm not sure what the paperwork or the mechanical situation is with this one, but they're the good people in the offices here down at Brightwells in Leominster. They'll have all the information. Right, we carry on down this way, so try not to miss anything else. We've got a Sunbeam Alpine here. This one was in the last sale, I seem to remember. Wants a bit of tickling up, but I think it's estimated accordingly. So this was Roots Group's rival to the MGB, really. Quite a sharp looking car, removable hardtop, tiny little seats in the back. I think this is the Alpine GT, so lift off roof but no folding soft top. Yeah, pretty sporty interior. Like I say, I always like the job that Roots Group did with their interiors. Very sporting, lots of black vinyl everywhere. Woodrim steering wheel on this one, many gauges. So there we go, bit of a project for someone there. Triumph Stag, well, wouldn't be a classic car auction without at least one Stag in here. I think this is a Mark II on an M registration. Is it a manual? Is it an auto? Let's have a look through the window. This has got the automatic gearbox. So real good waft, a big lazy 3-litre V8, Triumph's own design under the bonnet, and this was the only car that Triumph sold where that engine was standard fitment. A few people have shoehorned those V8 engines into the big Triumph 2000 estates and saloons. I imagine they go very well indeed. Rightio, let's carry on. We've got some slightly later metal here, the Porsche. This at first glance looks like a big Healey, but this is a replica of the Austin Healey. Haldane, that's it, yeah, Haldane is the maker of this one, presumably fiberglass bodywork. Yep, fiberglass body. Yep, there we go, so an interesting take on the big Healey. Another MG midgets, but this is one of the later so-called rubber bumper cars. These have got the Triumph 1500 engine under the bonnet. No longer was the A series being used for the midgets. So it's amazing really that British Leyland had the midget and the Spitfire for sale in the same dealership, direct rivals, competitors to each other, and yet produced by the same family, British Leyland. Seems a bit crazy now when you look back at it really. And like I say, this can trace its roots all the way back to the Frog Eye Sprites of the late 1950s. And the engine, well, that can trace its roots back to the Standard 8 of the early 1950s. The SC engine that first debuted in the little Standard 8 was stretched and was used right up until the beginning of the 1980s. We've got the little Fiat X19 here, little mid-engine Fiat, styling by Bertoni. In fact, we've got a Bertoni badge, Bertoni of Turin on the front there. This one, quite. You reckon the estimate's about 3.5, do you? Yeah, funky little car, isn't it? Lift out roof panel, obviously wants a few cosmetics here and there. I'm not sure what the running status is of this particular car, but quite an eye-catching little car. Very much similar styling, I suppose, to like the Triumph TR7, that sort of wedgy 70s era. This is a fairly late one with the bigger bumpers. Earlier cars had much smaller bumpers on them, and the engine tucked away mid-mounted behind the driver's seat, just under there, allowing you a bit of boot space. So yeah, quite a small car, but a fairly practical little car as well. Manual floor change box on that one. Right, we were looking at the 968, and this is the car that sired the 968. This is the Porsche 944. We've got a white example here. Quite a good car, really. These are overlooked for many, many years. Everyone goes on about 911s and to a lesser extent the 928s. But the 944s, I think, have got a lot going for them as well. They can get a little bit frilly around the backs of the sills, I believe. So, as with any old car, really, it always pays to have a good look around and underneath any prospective purchase. Was it?
Yeah, it's about 250,000 miles.
250,000 miles, but still looks pretty sharp. Yeah, it's a good looking car, 4-cylinder engine in the front. Yeah, pretty neat. And look at this, from 1967, one of the Arrow series Hillman Minxes. My God, so we saw a Hillman Hunter GLS at a gathering only recently at Sherlow Airfield, and I said then that these Arrow series cars are very, very thin on the ground. You see them occasionally, and maybe occasionally one of the super rare estate versions, but they are not common by any stretch of imagination. Quite a simple 3-box design, a rival in the day to the Ford Cortina Mark II and the Austin Cambridge, I guess, although they were getting a bit long in the tooth by the time that these Arrow series Minxes and Hunters came out. Quite a simple design, but not a bad looking car, really. Very, very late 1960s, early 1970s kind of shape to it. Vinyl seating. We'll just have a quick look in here. It's had paint at some point in time. Nice over carpets there, I like that kind of thing. Unusual gear knob, not seen one like that before. Yeah, all the dash appears to be there. And this is one of those sort of cars that if you want one of these, maybe you had one when you were growing up, your parents had one of these sort of cars. It's one of those sort of cars that you wouldn't really want to buy a ropey one, or one that's missing parts and then have to try and find parts, because to find, say, an instrument assembly, a dash assembly like that for a car of this era would be very, very tricky indeed. So it's another one of those cars where if you want one, just buy the best one that you can find. Right, let's carry on in this general direction. Oof, I see a Spitfire there. But let's have a look at this. We've got a BMW Isetta, super cool little cars. These little micro cars, very, very popular. They've got a huge following. There's often a gaggle of these turn up at the car shows that we get to. Long may that continue. Big opening front door on these. And the sort of the steering column and wheel swings out as you open the door. So a very clever bit of design. Room for 2 people in there. Cosy arrangement, but yeah, you get 2 people in that, and you've got the opening roof as well. So a bit of sunlight on those nice sunny days that we always get. And yeah, pretty neat little car. Looks to be in very, very tidy condition. 452 PMA. What a fun little machine that is. And alongside it, RS2000 Fast Fords continue to be super popular. Great shade of yellow, this particular one. I'll include a link to the auction website so that you can check out all the estimates on these cars, because it's just not possible to cover them all in this walk around video. Bright red MGB Roadster just on the end here. It's on the C plate, so 1965, the registration year of this particular car. That was the year that the GT was announced, but the Roadsters first came out in 1962. There's that lovely Morris 8 again. Right, where are we up to? Right here, I think, next row, and that begins with a little Austin Mini Cooper S replica. We'll have a quick scoot up here just to see what we can see. I'm fairly sure this is a recreation of an Austin Mini Cooper S. Like I say, all the details will be on the site. This engine has been specially modified by Special Tuning Department at Abingdon in Berkshire, so home to Special Tuning. That's pretty neat to see. Originally the competitions department for BMC. Whole gaggle of extra lamps on the front, so all the bits and bobs. Got a hardtop off something there. I should recognise that, but off the top of my head I'm not quite sure. Possibly the Austin Healey. Yeah, we'll just poke the camera in there. Slidey door window is open, so I can just lean in with the camera just to give you a bit of a view of the interior cockpit space on this really sharp looking, really well presented Mini. That's got the Group 2 arches on it, little 10-inch diameter Mini Light wheels as well. Twin SU carbs, proper S spec. Mini gurus will know exactly what we're looking at here, because there's so many different little variations on the Coopers and the Cooper S's, different number of studs on the cylinder head, all that kind of thing. And yeah, there's a whole industry built up around these wonderful little Minis. Right, we carry on, and also A-Series powered. There's this little Morris pickup alongside. So whereas the A-Series in the Mini is transverse, i.e. mounted side to side with the gearbox underneath, which is a very clever installation, this has the A-Series engine, but it runs fore and aft, so that away with the gearbox on the back, just under the floor in the passenger compartment. This is a little pickup version, so whereas it looks like a regular Morris Minor, the construction of these was very, very different. The regular Morris Minor saloons, monocoque construction, no separate chassis, but these, the pickups and the vans, these did have a separate chassis, just like most vehicles did in olden days. This one, very smart paint, it would appear. Nice canvas tilt on the back, looks to be very, very presentable condition. It's on a B registration, so at that point in time that tells us that this is a 1964 registered pickup. And yeah, I love these little pickups and vans that get worked so hard and consequently survive in tiny numbers. They have so much character. I think this is just a little belter. I'll just have a quick peer in there. Lovely sprung steering wheel as well on this era of Morris Minor. Of course, these were never actually called Morris Minor pickup or Morris Minor van in the brochures. They were always referred to as LCVs, light commercial vehicles. That is a very nice example. Hiding under here is a Bugatti replica. Now it's covered up. It does show it on the website, but it is covered up, so maybe there's a reason for that, so we won't go pulling the covers off. We will move straight on to this 1966 Ford Cortina Mark 1. Like I say, I'm here a little bit early. Viewing day is, the viewing days rather, start in just a few days' time, by which time all the cars will be fully prepped and in place. This is a very, very smart one of the Aeroflow cars. Early cars had slightly narrower grills on them, but this is definitely one of the later Mark 1s. Quite a smart four-door saloon. I like the colour. Two-tone, so a different colour roof. Yeah, pretty sharp looking car. Quite wide back doors. I've never really appreciated just how wide the back doors are, which give really good access to the back seating area. Quite sharp looking. It's got this sort of trim that runs all the way down the side to here. So a quick look inside, see what the interior is like. Original vinyl seating. It all looks to be pretty proper and correct to me. I bet loads of you watching this video have had Mark 1 Cortinas, and occasionally we see them at shows, occasionally a GT or maybe a standard spec or maybe one of the Lotus Cortinas. All different versions of these seem to survive, which is good to see. But yeah, really usable classic. If you want a family classic car, you could do a lot worse than one of those. Right, we've got a Porsche Boxster here, and sharing the same engine as that Daimler V8 250 that we were looking at before, so 2.5 litre V8. This is the Daimler SP 250, fiberglass bodied Daimler, and just as the yellow Volvo over there, you wouldn't really think that was a Volvo if you just saw it from a distance. You would be doing well to guess that this was a Daimler if you weren't familiar with these cars. When you get in, of course, you got the badging and the fluted Daimler grille, but fiberglass body. Were there any other fiberglass Daimlers ever built? I'm not sure if there were. Pretty wild looking cars. These were built for some time before Jaguar took Daimler over. And Jaguar did undertake a fair bit of re-engineering on them because there was a lot of flex in the bodies on these particular cars. And But Jaguar did continue with the production of these for some time after they took over the proud Daimler Mark. Fins on the back remind me of those on the early Sunbeam Alpines and the Tigers. Like how the D is just set into the casting there for the rear lamp surrounds. But yeah, again, twin pipes out of the back, one either side. Lovely, lovely V8 woofle to these. Really are quite distinctive. Yeah, yeah. Very distinctive looking cars. Tiny little seats in the back, which you could sort of squeeze one or two people in at a push. But yeah, really.
Very fast.
Yeah, these they must go very, very well. Which police was it? The London Police Force, the Met, that operated some of these black examples in the 1950s, 60s era. Yeah, pretty bonkers looking car, you have to say. Daimler, better known for sort of fairly staid, upright, regal saloons and limousines. And then they came out with something like that. Absolutely mad. But yeah, great to see that green metallic one here today. Another classic MG now, this the MGC, we can tell that because it's got this hump in the bonnet, aluminium bonnet on these, so this has got the BMC 3 litre straight 6 purring away under that bonnet. A lot of work went into converting these cars because of course the MGB had the regular 4-cylinder B series engine 1800cc, but this one nearly twice the size, much heavier engine. Significant reworking of all the front suspension on these cars just to accommodate that big heavy Austin Westminster sourced engine, but they are a good wafter. Very comfortable cars, go great as well. Later replaced by the MGB GT V8. Right, let's carry on along here. Got some slightly later motor cars here. The Audi, little Citroen 2CV Dolly from the mid 1980s. What's this little resident permit here? Wandsworth. So clearly spent some of its life down south. Yeah. Neat little cars, little air-cooled Citroen. Another MGB here, this one on Minilite style wheels. Lexus here, open top Lexus. Is this the SC430? I like the wheels, actually, they're quite cool. Is it the S? Yeah, the SC430. Yeah, good cars by all accounts. Right, now let's have a quick diversion into matters two-wheeled. We'll just have a quick scoot around here. We've got a Beezer there. Pretty funky looking bicycle here. I'm not sure what that is. Look at that.
Might be a Schwinn or something.
Yeah, it's a weird looking thing, isn't it? With suspension on the front, sprung suspension. But oh, look at that, a new Hudson little auto cycle. Yeah, do quite like that. Yes, I do like that a lot. Very original, this one. Look how original that looks. It is a bit dusty. Villiers engine, a tiny little two-stroke engine just down there. Or is it two-stroke? Yeah. Little Villiers unit there. Fuel tank up here.
Quite a big tank.
Yeah, it is quite a big tank actually, you're right. Looks like it could well be still road registered. Who doesn't love a classic auto cycle or a classic moped? I know I do. My first tinkerings were with a pair of Rally Runabout mopeds with a little 49cc Motorbicane engines. This is a bit older than that. This is probably late 40s, early 1950s in many ways, the heyday for these little sort of auto cycles and engine assisted bikes and mopeds, etc. Look at that, the original supplier's transfer on the front mudguard, supplied by the Motorcycle Mart, Walsall Limited in Walsall. So it's not travelled too far. What a little belter that is. Use, oops, let's just get the camera on there. Use Mobil oil. There we go.
Nice, affordable.
Yeah, that's fun, that, isn't it? Nice little lamp on there as well, isn't it? Look at that, Lucas, king of the road. Fantastic. What is this? A Honda, a 1971 Honda. Yeah. What else have we got? A little Yamaha. Is that the Fizzy? Little 50cc FS1E, I think they're called, don't they?
It's a replica of one.
Is it?
I think I read.
That's what we're looking at here. So we've got a Honda CD175. And the project, look at, yeah, that is lovely, isn't it? The sun.
Is it the sawn off tank there? I don't know.
Yeah. So very much truncated tank, sprung saddle.
Just a fun little thing.
Yeah, you could, if you had a field, you could bomb around.
Yeah, probably not a road.
Well, yeah, but it'd be certainly fun to bomb around on if you had a bit of space. Lovely Norton alongside as well. Let's keep going. Ducati, I honestly say I don't know anything about motorcycles. A 1999 Ducati 996 BP. So these are coming up, or at least some of them are, at a later sale. I know some of these are in the imminent sale. The new Hudson shows as being in the next sale. Got an NSU quickly there. Ooh, that's a bit of a Bobby Dazzler. I quite like that. So stylish. It's a wonderful shape. It's in the mud guards and it's all just very, very agreeable. NSU quickly. There we go. Yeah, beauty. An Air Mackie Harley Davidson. Oh, that's a bit of a special thing, isn't it? What's the story with that? Got the drop down handlebars there to give it that sort of racy look, but it's in good nick, isn't it? It's a tidy looking bike, that is. I like that. The immaculate beezer alongside. A little bit of moisture underneath, but probably something or nothing. BSA Bantam Major. Nice sort of grey colour to that one. There's an AJS alongside.
And the engine in that.
Yeah, it's not all there. I wonder if the other bits are with it. 1958 matchless AJS special, 1500 to 18. Right, so we've got matchless engine. Oh, there we go. There's the winged matchless badge there on the side of the casting. So matchless engine, AJS frame. Yeah. So yeah, interesting little special there. Probably an off-roader.
Look at this.
Trike. Good grief.
You want to buy a two-seat go-kart?
Wow.
No, it's not a car. Sorry,
Wow.
go-kart. It's not a go-kart. It's a car.
Is it a cart? Is it?
Go-kart's the pedal one.
That's pretty wide, isn't it?
Why would you make it for two people?
Yeah, two-seat go-kart. Crikey. So the rear passenger sits in there with her legs out that way.
Yeah.
And then the driver sits there and the legs out the front. Okay. There's a Triumph. What else we got? Right, what have we done? Right, so we've done that row over there. Yeah, let's just go down the middle here and we'll just have a quick look around. So what we got here, this is a Rolls Royce. So it looks just like the Bentley Arnages, which we tend to stumble across from time to time, but this is the Rolls Royce equivalent, the Rolls Royce Silver Seraph. Magnificent motor car. A little Triumph TR3A alongside. I know it's a 3A because you got the outside door handle, I can see, whereas the previous 3 did not have that. It looks to be in pretty groovy condition. It's been fitted with seat belts for a bit of added safety. Yeah, lovely sprung steering wheel. Yeah, very, very distinctive looking car as well. Wider grille as well on the 3As compared to the 3s. Engine based on that, fitted originally to the standard Vanguard and also the grey Fergie tractor, the petrol powered versions. There's the Silver Seraph. Pretty magnificent lump of car that. You get a lot of car for your money with that. Alpha Spider, the GT, it's got GTV Cup on this side. Yeah. Pretty groovy looking cars now. These and the Fiat Coupes, lovely seats. They look very, very agreeable seats. I like those. Presumably front wheel drive, I guess. But what do we have here? An incredible looking Hotchkiss. Now this is a car, I looked at the photos on the website, but it's sort of different when you actually see it in person.
I could make that nice.
I actually sort of, I actually like it more. Now I'm seeing it in the metal. Look at these beautiful Marshall lamps. What a work of art they are. You could have a museum just dedicated to early car lamps, or I could, because I just think the design of them is just wonderful, wonderful. So this started out presumably as a Hotchkiss saloon, an AM2. I think it is about 1926 is the date on this, if I remember right. It's the estimate 8 to 10. But it's one of those sort of cars, because it's a special now, that is not the original body. It's almost like a blank sheet of paper. You could kind of do with it as you will. Harley's just trying it for size. You've got a big step to get inside. But Hotchkiss, a French motor manufacturer, like I said, it probably started out as a big saloon. Very distinctive shape of radiator on these cars. There is the Hotchkiss badge, which is formed from its two crossed cannons on the badge there, because Hotchkiss can trace its roots back to manufacture of armaments in the dim and distant past. But yes, they also produce some pretty wild looking cars. Cool, those lamps are lovely. Right, so this one clearly has been built up as a bit of a special, but yes, probably started out life as a saloon. I wasn't entirely sure about it when I looked at the photos, if I'm totally honest, but now I see it in the metal.
It's good from here.
Yeah, it's growing on me. And you could, like I say, because it's a special, you're not really tied to leaving it exactly as it is. So if you want to modify the tail a bit, or modify the sides, or you could make it into a bit more of a racer perhaps, who's going to complain, because it's not an original car. So you can kind of do whatever you want. This one dates to 1926, the original car, so celebrating its 100th birthday this year, the underpinnings of this particular car. But it's got real presence, it has to be said. Big fuel tank out the back there. Obviously these little cycle wings have been made especially for it. Harley is elegantly clambering out of it. It's actually quite a tall car.
Yes.
It's not a small car at all. But that does mean you've got a fair bit of space, and presumably there's room for your luggage in the back here. Let's just have a quick look in here. So we've got a floor change, as you'd expect. Quite the impressive steering wheel. Whole gaggle of gauges across here. So no opening doors, you just clamber across. You've got this big step here to aid your entry and exit. Spare wheel there as well. Ancient Engelbert tyre as well. You don't see those every day. Yeah, it's kind of, it's sort of, I can see this has really got potential. It's quite a lofty, it's got a lofty stance to it. It is not a low slung car by any stretch of the imagination. But if you look at the chassis, it's all been done. You've got new fittings evidence there. Looks like it's all been repainted before the body went on. Yeah, actually, yeah. I think it's, what was it, 8 to 10, that sort of ballpark. Might come for a little bit less, perhaps. It's just a really distinctive, it's proper vintage, 1926.
You could spend a year on it.
Yeah.
And probably make it.
And there's the lovely Hotchkiss again on the temperature gauge there. But yeah, you could make a few little tweaks to that.
6-cylinder, I think, isn't it?
It's going to be a big engine. I'm not sure if it's a 6 or a 4, but you could actually make something about that. Maybe modify the tail a little bit. I think I probably would.
I don't know how.
But someone who knows what they're doing, or you could just run it as it is. You don't have to modify anything at all. But yeah, an interesting vintage car for somebody there. Rightio, where are we? Right, we're going down this row. So TVR Chimera, Blackpool's finest, fiberglass body, Rover V8 engine. Another Triumph TR3A here, this one in British racing green and red interior trim with the white piping. So that all looks very nice. There's the hood frame just in there. Looks very nice. Like I say, the cars aren't fully prepped yet because we are here quite early. There's a few days before the sale even begins. Like I say, registration and bidding opens on Saturday the 1st of August, so a few days off from today. Today it's the 27th of July, the Monday. So the cars will be prepped and cleaned and checked over and probably moved around a bit before then. And yes, there are 1 or 2 viewing days coming up as well. So if there's anything here that really floats your boat, try and get over if you possibly can, because it's always good, and you can get the keys, have a proper look around, look under the bonnet as well. This big Healy, this is a Mark II, so the Mark III has the 2 lamps beneath the headlights, These earlier cars have just the one, and you'll notice that Mark III had the wind-up windows. This has the pop-out side screens, but that means it has this lovely curve to the top of the doors, which I personally prefer, and that's a lovely interior. Again, yeah, tiny little seats, and it's got the air vents set in to the front there, just like on the Works rally cars. So that wasn't a standard fitting on the regular Austin Healey's that were sold via the BMC dealerships, but a lovely two-tone car, that one. Got a Merc 300 SE, so 3 litre straight six in that one. My dad used to have a 500 SEL with a V8 in it. That was an amazing car. It wasn't really a corners car, but in a straight line it was a very impressive car. You sort of put your foot down and the back sort of squatted down, the front came up in the air, and you just sort of shoot off down the road. And yeah, but like I say, it wasn't really built with corners in mind. A proper quality job. If you look after this, you'll probably see most of us out this wood. Auto box, standard fit on these big W126 S-Class Mercs. Great cars, and you very rarely see these out and about now. These, the S-Classes, and there was also the SECs, the mighty two-door coupe versions, but very classy looking cars. And unlike many Mercs of this era, it hasn't had those shiny wheel arch extensions tacked on, because you see those shiny, I'm not sure if they're plastic chrome or real chrome, but these arch extensions that people often put on this era of Merc, and usually they're hiding rust. So it's always nice to see one. It doesn't have those fitted, so you can have a proper look at the wheel arches. Rightio, we've got a very bonny little Austin A35 here. Apologies if I'm starting to lose my voice. I was out all day yesterday recording. I've got another day's recording tomorrow as well. This is a 948, or a standard fit, would have been 948 A-Series engine, a little floor change, 4-speed box. Got a nice little gaggle of period gauges there, so I would do like a period mod. Sometimes you see gauges fitted for oil pressure and water temp, but they're a bit too modern, but these look just perfect in that chrome little gauge holder there. Yeah, fun little car, similar running gear to our A40 Mark 1. Yeah, just a very bonny little two-door Austin A35. Great little run around, super charismatic. And ooh, we're back to Daimler's, another ASP 250. This one, old English white-ish colour. Again, really charismatic car. This one with the extra leather bonnet straps on it as well. Which of course, being a fiberglass body, you do get a little bit of flex in them, so you wouldn't want the bonnet pinging up while you're driving along, so that's actually a very worthwhile mod indeed. I like these very sporty mirrors there. Yeah, an incredible assortment of cars here today. The Messerschmitt KR200 three-wheeler, Blackie is the name. Amazing looking little German three-wheeler there. This is actually one of the licensed built FMRs, license built from Messerschmitt. Yeah, pretty cool. Some of them have sort of the glass bubble top on them, or probably Perspex bubble top. This has the open roof with the side screens, so a bit of open top motoring for whoever takes on this lovely little three-wheeler Messerschmitt. What an amazing machine. We've got a Saab Cabriolet here as well, one of the GM era Saab 900 cabriolets. So much to see, and there's still a load of stuff outside as well. Right, XJ Series 1, XJ6. I think this is a 4.2 Series 1. There are a couple more Series 1s outside I caught a glimpse of. This one's a lovely pale blue car, fairly early on a J plate. I do like these. I often wax lyrical about these, I know. I've had a couple of Series 1s. There's a Matchless here as well. That's very nice. Is that the one? There's one of these that's got an estimate of just about 1,200 or so pounds, which seems like quite a lot of bike for the money. But anyway, back to Jaguar XJ. Yep, I've had 3 XJ Series 1s over the years. I really like these a lot. Good looking car. This is the short wheelbase. The L's had a bit more length in the back doors. but I think the proportions of the standard wheelbase cars are just that little bit better. Regular Borgward, a 3-speed auto. Reasonable legroom in the back, but they were criticised in period. I mean, when these first came out as a replacement for the Mark II and the 420s, or like the S-Type, there was just a world-class, class-leading car, award-winning cars, but they did get criticised a little bit for being a bit cosy in the back, so they produced the long wheelbase version. This is a fairly early Series 1, because it wouldn't be long before, you can see here the rear reflectors are built in to the reverse lights. On most Series 1s and the later Series 2s, that is mounted beneath the main light cluster. Other differences on the early cars, they used to have straight pipes coming through here, but it was prone to exhaust fumes being drawn into the boot lid and then into the car. So they put these curvy exhaust extensions on, and that got round that particular problem. Yeah, I think this is a 4.2, and it's a very, very sharp looking car indeed. Amazing, beautiful looking car for a mass-produced saloon. The look of it and the styling, I just think, is brilliant. Right, let's just keep going, and next up we've got an MGB. So bright red Roadster here, this one on an M registration. Again, super popular. There's always quite a few MGBs around, one of the most popular choices in the classic car world. This one's had a wood dash fitted at some point in time, so a few little mods on this one. Looks like it may have been sat for a little while, so probably a bit of a recommissioning job on that one, I would imagine. Ross style wheels, that was standard fit on these late chrome bumper cars. I've got a Z3 BMW here. Sittner of Gerrard's Cross, because Frank Sittner, a name long associated with racing BMW M3s in the British Touring Car Championship going way, way back. A Mini, bonny little Mini there, Transverse A series. This one with a single SU on it. Next to the Mini, Jaguar E-Type, of course, no mistaking that. This is a very late Series 1, or probably the 1.5. It's got the open headlights, which is something that was carried over to the Series 2s that replaced the Series 1.5 not long after this car was built, actually. Most Series 1s you see have the glass covers over them, but they did sort of compromise the effectiveness of the bulbs, the lights, so they went to this open headlight design towards the end of the Series 1s. I can't remember what the estimate is on this one. It's around 25, 30. Doesn't sound like a huge number, to be honest. Yeah, amazing, amazing looking cars. Very vivid blue, non-factory colour on this particular B Roadster. Quite a few Bs to choose from here. Got a very late Alpha Spider. I say late, it's the last of this particular sort of shape of Alfa Romeo Spider. Very, very distinctive looking cars. The offset number plate, that was a standard thing on these Alfa Romeos at the time. Got a 6 Series here, one of the 6 Series. We often see 635 CSIs, occasionally the 633s. This on the T-plate is fairly early. So what's the engine on this one? It could be a 633 actually. It is, that's right, okay, so 3.3 straight 6, all nice and simple in those days. The badge on the back gave you a good indication. So 6 for 6 Series, 3.3 for the engine size, coupe, fuel injection, all nice and easy. Good looking cars. These were the replacement to the older E9s of the 1970s. These 6 Series came out towards the back end of the 1970s and were produced throughout the 1980s. Pretty sharp looking car, I think. Got a Merc SL, one of the R129 era Mercedes-Benz SLs, complete with the metal factory hardtop, and then alongside it the car that came before, the R107 version of the famous Mercedes-Benz SL. Another Ducati here, Honda. Ooh, what's this bicycle over here? Ooh, we've got an engine-assisted bicycle. We've got a Trent Sports. I think it's a Rally. Those little indents at the top of the fork usually point to a bicycle being produced by Riley over in Nottingham. There we go, Riley badge just there. Yeah, this has got a power pack on it. I was looking at one of these only yesterday, funnily enough, at a show. Power pack drive. So you've got a little engine there, and they're quite clever. They drive the rear wheel, but I think they just push down on the back tyre. So you've got a brake in the mudguard where the engine power unit sits, and this is used to engage and disengage the drive. And they've got a very, very simple form. I found out yesterday a very, very simple form of reserve fuel tank. So you keep the tank in its regular position and you ride along, and then if you find yourself running out of fuel, if it starts puttering, what you can do is you can actually lift the tank up a little bit, and you've got this bit here, you've got a little bit of extra fuel just sits in there, and you tilt the tank up forwards a little bit, possibly using this here, and that just gives you a little bit of extra fuel so you can stagger along to your next petrol station and top up with the old Motor Spirit. That's quite a bonny little thing. Road registered as well, it would seem, UXS 464. There's an information sheet on this. Let's have a quick look. Should have looked at this first, shouldn't I? 1952 Rally Cycle Motor. V5C handbook and the dating certificate, 6 to 800 the estimate on this. Power pack 49cc single cylinder 2-stroke rear wheel engine. That's pretty cool. Yes, I like that. Right then, young man. Harley's just starting to tuck into his lunch because it is getting perilously close to food time. So I think we've looked at all the cars here in the building. So that means let's go outside. It's very sunny today, so we're going to go outside and check out some of the gems that are out there. We've got a few restoration projects and 1 or 2 vans and other commercial vehicles as well. So that's always a bit of a treat. So without further ado, let's amble off in that general direction and see what we can find. Oh, I missed these two out before. We've got a BGT project car here. Managed to miss this one before, didn't I? So if you're after a fixer-upper, well, there you go. And, oh, Spitfire Mark II. How can I not spot that? My earliest tinkering days were with Spitfire Mark IIIs, very, very similar to this. This one's clearly been brush painted at some point in its past. So yeah, a bit of a project for someone, but the beauty with these is you can buy pretty much anything for them. It's got the original correct seats in it. That's good to see. A few bits and bobs in there as well. The wood dash, that would come with the Mark III, that's the correct one for the Mark II. So this would have had the 1147cc engine in it, similar to that in the Triumph Herald. Souped up a little bit, it's probably similar spec to the engine that we had in our 1250, so twin SUs, slightly different cam as well. But the low set front bumper, the Mark 1s and the Mark 2s had the low set front bumper, then the Mark 3s, the bumper will be raised to go across the middle of the air intake. But I actually prefer the look of these earlier cars. So a couple of nice little projects there for somebody. Little Triumph Spitfire, the Mark II, and the rival from Abingdon, the MGB GT. Rightio. Another E46 cabriolet here. But right, let's go outside and see what we can spot out of there. Okay, we are outside now here at Brightwells. All sorts of cars dotted around here. Various modern classics. Ooh, there's a, what's that coming in on the vehicle over there?
Cobra.
Is that the Cobra that's
yes,
entered?
Yes, it is the one actually.
Yeah, there's like a fastback Cobra entered, isn't there, into the next auction, and that's just arriving on the transporter over there. That's a pretty cool looking car. We've got a Series 3 Landy here. We'll just have a quick dash around. There it goes, there. We're catching it as it arrives. Real time. There we go. Look at that. It's quite a wild looking Cobra rep. Yeah, right, anyway, let's not get distracted. So we'll just have a quick dash around here, just give you a bit of a flavour, an intro to what's coming up soon. Discovery there. Subaru, little 205. It's got a posh leather interior, so this is one of the posh 205s. Let's see if there's a clue. Alloy wheels as well. The Gentry limited edition 205. So yes, you could join the Gentry with this very upmarket 205. Just about see the leather trim in there. And the E46 and 129 SL Mark there. It's always interesting to come and have a wander around these auctions prior to the sales actually taking place. A little Rover 45 there. Always welcome your feedback on these videos as well. A little TT Clio. It's quite smart, isn't it? A little SJ410, I think, Suzuki. Bit of character that. Right, what we're looking at, so we got the they've got the Bentley here. The estimate on this is about 10. Yes, I have been looking at adverts for old Volvo estates. This is a saloon. So what's this now? 940 or a 960. Very, very boxy. Originally, it was a 700 series Volvos introduced this style. This is the 760 GLE. So this has got the PRV V6 engine in it. We used to have the estate one of these. We had a 760 GLE estate when we first moved house to where we are now. Many years ago that was. So I actually bought one for £125 with a slipping gearbox, but it's only slipping because there's no automatic fluid in the gearbox. There you go.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, that takes me back, that does. So same interior as the estate we used to have, so we kept it for a few months, did the house move, dragged everything from the old house to where we are now, and then I sold it on again, still with MOT, for £100 to a lady who was into horses.
This is a lovely interior, isn't it?
It's dead comfy, aren't they? They're really comfy things.
Hot
Really,
interior.
it's very hot
Could not
today.
think of a hotter interior to be in, but
It is hot.
it is actually quite nice.
204. Oh, it's kilometres. Oh, no, miles.
No,
Oh, it is miles, isn't it? 204,000. Oh, I've got some steam action going on. Unfortunately, I haven't got zoom on this camera. But that's the second steam vehicle we've seen today. Hope you can see that. I've got a feeling there's a steam event coming up near Shrewsbury very soon. So, yeah, I'll just sneak past you there. So, yeah, 760 GLE wagon. Incredible Bentley here with a twin turbo W12 engine. All sorts of things here. Little Suzuki. We used to have a Grand Vitara like that with a V6 Alfa Romeo. Right, let's cut. Can we cut through here and see? Yes, we've got a gap here in the fence. Nice 944 there. Down to 16% on this battery, so I need to change that. Let's just have a look, just see what we've got. There's a Lotus. Is that an XL? Yeah, I think that's an XL. Now, whether this is in this auction or whether it's in the one after, I'm not entirely sure, but you know where to go to find out. It is an XL. I can hear something else. I think it's just a big queue of cars actually with those steam vehicle that's just passed through. I bet we're going to catch that on the way home. I'll look forward to that. Right, Series 3 there. We're going to catch up with some of this steam stuff on the way home, aren't we, Harley? It's like a bit of a Project Saab 96 here. Now, is this an early V4 or has it still got the two-stroke engine? I'm not entirely sure from here. It's got the long nose on it as opposed to the bull nose, but clearly been dragged out of somewhere. Quite dusty. Also fairly dusty, but then again we did have a shower the other day. A Range Rover Classic, yeah, definitely some steam action going on the A49 road just the other side of that hedge. Got a Subaru Brat now, late 1980s, four-wheel drive pickup truck. They have quite the following now, and they do seem to turn up fairly regularly. A C-Class Merc just over there. Back to XJs, and we've got a Series 2 Daimler Sovereign based on the Series 2 long wheelbase platform. Again, is this one in this sale or is it in the one after? I'm not quite sure. I don't remember reading about this one. Regular auto box, but yeah, Daimler. Very, very similar, to be honest, to the Jaguars. Looks to be in pretty good nick. There's the Rover 45, Focus ST, Subaru Impreza. Really cool looking cars. Now, I mentioned Series 1 XJs before, and here we have a pair of Series 1s. I see there's another one somewhere. This is the Daimler Sovereign. This is the slightly plusher car with the big proud radiator grille on the front. But yeah, very, very similar under the skin to the regular XJs. 6-cylinder engine, I assume, in this one. They did do the V12s, the XJ12 and the Daimler 66, but I think this is a regular 6-pot Daimler Sovereign. So basically the same as a Jaguar XJ6. This is 2.8, okay. So this is an engine that was only offered on the Series 1 XJs. We did have a few reliability problems with them in their early years, the 2.8s. They were a bit prone to melting pistons, but I think that's a problem that's been long consigned to the past now. This one, dark green, all the usual places to check, back arches, all that kind of thing. Auto box in this one as well. Got a Z car here, bonnet raised. The Mini, this one, it's got a 67 registration on it, so it's an earlier reg than the car, because 67 Minis would still have the slidey door windows and the external hinges, but this is clearly a later car, or at least later body shell. So we've got a four-door Morris Minor. See if I recognise these seats. Crikey, they are different, aren't they? I don't know.
These are low spec mini seats.
Are they mini seats?
They're like my Mini.
Are they?
Yeah.
Right.
Like a low
Yeah, the
spec
bottom bit. Yeah, the bottom bit looks like a Mini,
sure
doesn't it? Yeah, it could well be, couldn't it?
Like a cloth version of my
Yeah. On the outside, looks to be pretty standard stuff. 4-door Morris Minor 1000. Oh, yeah. Right, there we go. I'm going to change my battery now, because oftentimes I find myself walking and talking and I find that the battery has run out and I have to go and redo it all. So let's get the battery swapped again. Some classic caravan action over here. Oh, there comes that Cobra rep. Certainly sounds the part. Yeah, back to classic caravans. This is a Cheltenham, a pretty popular choice in the world of classic caravaning. We've got, well, let's keep going. We've got a pretty dusty little Mini here, Mark II Mini. Like I say, if any of these cars aren't in this imminent sale, they'll probably be in the sale afterwards. Now we have bit of classic commercial vehicle action. Here we've got a Ford Thames. I think this is the ET6, so this has got the petrol engine. There was also the 4D, which had the diesel unit in it, but same style of cab. Nice bit of period sign writing here for James Bate and Sons of Warrington. So just up the other end of the A49 from here. Very, very original. Looks like it's been sat in a barn for quite some time actually. Yeah, lovely. Ooh. Slightly less fade this side. The sign writing has been cleaned up a bit. That is wonderful. Hopefully that could be preserved. That lovely sign writing. It'd be a shame to redo that. So what year is this? Sort of late, well, no, about mid-1950s. This, the ET6. So yeah, petrol engine in this one. I wonder if it's open. I wonder if we could just poke the camera in and just admire the driver's eye view in this lovely old lorry. Yeah, there we go. It's actually in quite nice, complete condition, pretty much as parked it would look like. Great view down the bonnet, nice lofty seating position in these old lorries. I do like this kind of thing. I wonder if it's a runner. Got a big battery there. So yeah, pretty nice. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I'm guessing wherever it's been stashed away, because often these things rot out on the A-pillars here, where the door hinges bolt through. But actually, even down here, it's still metal. That's why they always tend to go there, and on the steps, the sills. So even though the paint's a little bit scratty in places, it could make for quite a nice oily raggo, especially that lovely sign writing, which would be really nice to try and preserve that. And next to that we go back to Roots Group and a lovely little Comma Superpoise. This is a very rare sight now. Think Comma Superpoise and you usually think of the bigger trucks of the early 1950s like the one that we used to have, but this little Comma Superpoise, much smaller vehicle, quite unusual actually in this size, with a little pickup, the sort of step side pickup body on it. So this cab would have been used on much larger trucks, but here it's being used on altogether much more compact vehicle. The estimate on this is somewhere north of about £6,500. Let's have a quick peer inside. Nice condition actually, pretty reasonable. A little bit down there, but not that you'd worry about really. Very smart dash, 2-piece windscreen. What a view, what a great view, especially when you look across at that Thames just alongside, just as a driver would have done back in the 50s or the 1960s. Cobra's getting a bit of an airing, just putting a few miles, getting a bit of temperature through it. Yeah, door shuts nicely as well. Covered over rear body on it as well. Yeah, that is my kind of thing. Oh, I didn't look at that sign writing on the back of the Thames as well. Fresh fruits and vegetables. Yeah, that definitely deserves to be preserved rather than overpainted, if at all possible. That is great. Now we've got a few cars over here which I think are from either previous sales, like this Alvis TD21s Grey Lady. So this is either from a previous sale, which I think, or possibly for an upcoming sale. So none of these are really within the scope of this particular video. Mark 1 Transit here. This could be in the auction, I forget now. Got a Moggy van, little Morris LCV. Bit of a project for someone here. Bit of work to do on the gutters, that's where they always tend to suffer. Around the bottoms here and the gutters up here. That's a common rot spot on these super characterful little vehicles, but anything can be fixed and I'm sure that will be restored. It's quite unusual actually, it's one of the Austin badged versions as opposed to your regular Morris. So the Austin LCV, this is a one-piece windscreen job, the early ones were split window. And we've got a 67 four-door Morris Mine 1000, quite a dusty looking Morris Mine 1000. Bit of a fixer-upper for somebody there. Yeah, this one has clearly been sat for quite some time, but who doesn't love a nice barn find classic? Let's have a quick peer in here. Still got some flaws in it. It's got that really typical hot sort of vinyl smell. Again, you can buy everything for them. So it'd be nice to think that maybe someone will take that on. I can't imagine it'll be particularly expensive. I'm assuming this will be a no reserve car. We've got a pickup here which has been made out of actually a cut down Morris Minor Traveller. So whereas regular pickups, like I said, had separate chassis, the saloons and the estates, the Travellers did not. So this won't have a separate chassis. And the top part of the estate car bodywork has been removed to create this pickup that you see here. This is it was not an uncommon conversion to do, to be honest, especially if the woodwork was starting to get a bit fragile on the back of your estate. You could buy yourself a few more years use out of it by simply chucking away half the woodwork and making it into a pickup truck. Be interesting to know what someone does with that. Little Rover Metro there. Ah, now here's the other XJ. I knew there was another Series 1 somewhere. This one also in dark green, bit more of a project. Certainly sounds like a Cobra. So yeah, this XJ, definitely quite the project car. So we've got 3 Series 1s and a Series 2 here today. Auto box, yeah, this takes me right back, this does. Yeah. So the centre of the dash hinges down, and that gives you access to the fuse box behind. It's quite clever. You've just got a couple of little knurled nuts that you undo, and that hinges down, giving you access also to the back of the instrumentation and fuses behind there. So, yeah. 6,000 is the red line on this one. So I wonder which engine this has got in it. It's fairly early because it's got the chrome rimmed gauges. That was a feature on the earlier XJs as opposed to the later XJs. So this is another 2.8, so higher revving than your 4.2s, which I think were redlined at about 5,000. But clearly the 2.8s had a slightly higher redline, similar to that of the V12 powered cars. Right, not sure what the story is with this Mark II Escort. We've got a grey Fergie, a lovely Fordson Major here, proper chunk of tractor with that one, and a little Citroen H van. Super popular. So many of these have been converted into catering vans, and I think that's the case with this one. I think that side panel hinges down so you can serve beverages and tasty nourishments from within. Yep, we've got a coffee making gear. You probably can't see that, but yep, there's some coffee making gear just in the back. National Trust. Ooh, little French sticker there. Yep, very bonny little Citroen H van. So there we go. I think that is most of the older cars, and indeed most of the modern classics that are coming up for auction featured now. Here's that Z car. There's a 260. Could be a 280 perhaps. See if there's any clues around the back. No. But not to worry. It's a Z car, a Datsun Z car. Stylish thing, glass sunroof and some period Wolf Race alloy wheels. But yeah, I think that is most of the cars featured here today at Brightwells. So I guess we're at that time again where I'm going to have to try and pick a favourite car, which, if I can only pick one, and I don't tend to succeed at this very well, just picking one, which one car would I most like to offer a home to? Perhaps it would be this Chummie. This would probably be in the top three. I do love this one in blue. Standard is a very neat little car. Harley very much likes the Triumph Roadster, which was the big surprise for me, I have to say. I didn't think you'd go for that, young man. So you're going to try and pick a favourite as well?
I've still got three that are pretty easy.
Go on then, you tell me what are your three. You tell me what your three.
There's four. There's three that I really like. The one that's not exactly a favourite, but it'd actually be a nice car for me is the Standard.
Okay.
I think that's a funny little thing.
So the little pre-war flying
regardless
8s.
of everything, my favourite three are the TD21 Saloon.
Yeah.
I really like that Mark III.
Oh, the Sunbeam, yeah.
1800 Triumph.
And the 1800 Triumph. So your three really are these ones plus the Alvis. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. An 18-year-old speaks. Those are his choices.
So the way the door shuts on that is beautiful.
Yeah, it is an impressive car. Right. So what would I go for? A Model A Roadster Pickup. I would probably, if that was a regular pickup, that would be my choice of the day. I do quite fancy the idea of an all steel pickup.
The P4 Estate.
The P4 Estates, yes. Again, this is one of those cars where I looked at the photos and I was sort of a little bit in two minds. Well, I just looked at the photos, but when I actually saw it in the wood, and I came to appreciate just the amount of work that's gone into curving these sides, and indeed the rear door and glass, not plastic, that's glass. This is also in my top three. So the little blue Chummie, and surprising to me, this Rover Woodie, on which so much work and effort has been expended. So what else really captures my eye? I'm just having a quick glance around, that I think I'm probably with Harley on this one. That, yeah, I think the Alvis TD21 fixed head coupe would be my take-home car. I do quite like the Borgward, actually. I think the Borgward Isabella is a good-looking thing. And my heart says early Spitfire, but I don't really want any more project cars, so I'll have to give that one a miss. The Dauphine, that is a bonnet of the car. But wow, I mean, I would really prefer a manual box if I'm honest, but I think this and the Chummy, I'm going to have to go with two. The blue Chummy and the blue TD21 fixed head, those are my choices for this particular auction. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what your favourites would be out of those featured here today. So thank you so much for watching this particular video. We need to dash off northwards now, hopefully not get caught up behind all those steam vehicles that are heading northwards. Get this one edited and out the door ASAP. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, let me know in the comments, like I say, what you like, all that kind of thing, and there'll be loads more videos along very, very soon. So bye for now. Now there is a separate auction coming up very, very soon just for these two super rare commercial vehicles, and I'll be doing a separate video about each of these very, very shortly, so keep an eye out on the channel for these two beauties. This is just an incredible scammer.